I rejoice to see saints loving one another. Amen. And also being eager to receive Yahweh's word. Amen? Amen? It's a blessing and it's certainly a joy to share these moments with you all here. And whenever we have these sessions or these meetings, I always look forward to the morning, to these moments right here. I love to hear from you, I love to interact with you. Because it says so much to me when I can hear a wide cross-section or spectrum of people who have different views, different levels of maturity, and we can all interact as brothers and sisters.
Amen.
I'm always very strong that no one is to use what they know to the detriment of another person or to making another person feel less than they should. All right? Not in the body of Messiah. Our assignment as apostles and those other gifts, some of them, would be to silence and to destroy the works of wickedness that come out of some people's mouth. Not in the church, though. The way I handle saints is different from the way I handle deceptive, wicked preachers. And it will always be different. I will always be aggressive towards wicked people. Especially those who say they know. But yeah. Okay. So shalom. I hope that those of you in the hostel had a great night. I'm missing y'all so much you wouldn't believe it. Next time I gotta move out of my house and come up where you are. Because what I'm hearing sounds too good for me to be away from y'all. Alright, but I'll try to, after this session, I'll try to go over and spend a few moments with you. Because tonight I trust Yahweh as we close. We shall close being certainly ready, certainly geared to go back where we are and work with fire in our bones. And obey with the same fire in our bones. Because some of us are called to obey. The scripture says you were chosen, you were saved, and you were set apart by Yahweh's Spirit to obey the truth. Not necessarily to preach it. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for Gareth and for all of my family who are here with us as well. Yahweh be praised. 1 Timothy chapter 1, before I call the group. I don't see Apostle yet. There's Apostle Thomas. He's on his way there. 1 Timothy chapter 1. And yesterday, as simple as it appeared, I realized that some of you were freed in a moment. Amen. Where you realize that Shaul, verse 1, an apostle of Yeshua the Messiah, by command of Yahweh, our deliverer, wrote to Timothy, a true son. He did not write to the entire church. He wrote this letter to his son. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 1. He wrote this letter to his son. He did not write, and by name Timotheus was not a church. Timotheus was in Ephesus, and you see here where Shaul told him to remain at Ephesus. Ephesus was where the body was. And he said, stay there. Of course, we know later on Shaul would have written, and Timothy, I think it was, letters to Ephesus. A letter to Ephesus, to the saints. So when Shaul was led to write to the saints, he addressed the saints. Amen. When he was led to write to his son Timothy, he addressed his son Timothy. Before we go to chapter 2, which is where we talk about certain doctrines this morning, he said, I counseled you, we talked about yesterday, when I was leaving for Macedonia, stay on your Ephesus, that's chapter 1 verse 3, so that you may order certain people who are teaching a different doctrine to stop. Have them stop devoting their attention to myths and never-ending genealogies. These divert people to speculating instead of doing Yahweh's work, which requires trust or faith. verse 5. And that's the theme of our conference or gathering. The purpose, 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. The purpose of this order is to promote what?
Love.
Let me get it straight with all in this room. Everybody should be awake by now. Some of you got bread and cheese, egg and sausage and all the rest of it. Whatever you ate, you're awake. So let's talk as if you're awake and alive. Let me read the first part again. I asked you, I'm counseling you to stay in Ephesus so that you may order certain people to stop teaching a different doctrine. Verse 5. The purpose of this order is to promote what? Love. So you mean to tell me that Timotheus, an apostle, is ordered to rebuke people so love can be promoted in the church?
Yes.
All right.
But that doesn't sound like love to me though.
Yeah.
According to what the church tells me now. Because whenever I rebuke somebody, I am mean, I'm angry, I am bitter, I'm arrogant, I don't have love, I don't love souls. Therefore, Apostle Shaul did not have love either when he told his son, rebuke them so love could be promoted in the church.
Stop them too.
And watch this. Not just so that love could be promoted, but the heart
Can be clean.
Must have a clean heart.
would be pure.
Yes.
It takes a special degree of wickedness to see people teaching what is wrong
Come on.
and leave them to do it
All right.
because you don't want to offend them. And that is sold as love. Because love nowadays doesn't get anybody angry in the church. Love doesn't tell you that you should not say that if the doctrine is wrong. Love does not say, I see your passion to teach, but you're not qualified to do it. The purpose of this order is to promote love from a clean heart, from a good conscience, and from sincere trust. Look at the beauty of a father ordering a son to tell people stop teaching what is wrong. Some aim. Boy, I like that shirt, Apostle. You made it today, man. Some by aiming amiss have wandered off into fruitless discussion. Let me help you, that this being our last day here, to not fall into the trap of thinking that speaking about the truth regarding the name of your Savior and His Father can never be a fruitless discussion.
Amen.
Which verse? Which book?
All right.
Persons, when they discover they cannot defeat you based on the truth you know, will try to deceive you into thinking that the truth you know is not as important.
For real.
It is fruitless to discuss whether we should wear white for Easter Sunday or black. There's no spiritual product that will call you wear. Whether those went this morning to wear black or say, oh, we're going to be colorful because you want to celebrate the fact that our Savior lives, you're still deceived. So you're cutting. Don't tell me what you don't wear it. You'll see Apostle Thomas in a minute. The color choice or the color scheme has nothing to do with salvation. It's fruitless. It's a waste of time. Fruitless discussion is whether we should paint this wall green because Holy Spirit said paint it pink. It is fruitless. Yahweh doesn't give you paint color for church. How did it become some spiritual discussion for us to have? It's human choice. And it's called taste.
Apostle,
Nigel.
Yes.
I'm listening to Jack.
Yes, you may.
I was listening from upstairs in the lab. I was upstairs,
Right.
right? But in certain groups, the faithist group in particular, they have a time that they call the robing session.
Right.
Yes.
And in their robing session, they depend heavily on unclean spirits to give them dreams as to what colors they should wear. And as the people of Yeshua, we've got to be very, very careful. Because remember, we were warned in Jude that persons worm themselves in. And they started to teach heresies, damnable heresies.
All right.
That is why, as the people of Yeshua, we have been instructed to earnestly contend for the faith,
Yes.
which was once delivered unto the saints. And Apostle Charles also said that I know when I depart, grievous wolves are going to come in. And some of the grievous wolves manifest those same teachings. You'd be surprised at the amount of groups that broke up because of color.
That in mind. Yochanan wrote in 1 Yochanan 5, I think it's 18 or 19, and he said, the whole world is under the control of the evil one. The entire world. The only safety we have is Yahweh's choice of us.
Oh my.
If Yahweh had not chosen us, the evil one would be in full control of us as well. The scripture does not say that the entire world has chosen the evil one. They don't have a choice. If you do not belong to Yahweh, you are under the control of the evil one. Wholesale. You all fine?
We hope so.
Shalom, Facebook, good. Alright, if the whole world is under the control of the evil one, they have no choice in the matter. We are free from the power of the evil one because of Yahweh's choice. Every person, therefore, including 100% of those who say that Jesus is the Messiah, all of them are under the control of the evil one.
True.
Yes.
Whether you like it, it's still the truth.
Yes.
Anyone who defends error
Yes.
after acknowledging truth is under the control of the evil one.
Yes.
All across the board.
Yes.
You cannot say that I know his name is Yeshua, but I choose to call him Jesus and I'm right. That is the evil one's child talking.
Yes.
Therefore, deeper than that is this. Those who preach Jesus and believe in this false name have doctrines given to them by the evil one.
Yes.
Alright, so I like to ask you a question because you're so brilliant. You bless my soul, bless my spirit, and bless my heart. Where do they get a doctrine from? Which book?
Not from the scripture.
No, there's no trick question here.
Not from the scripture.
So what do they read?
The scripture.
Oh, they read the Bible.
Yes.
And they get doctrines from the Bible. But who gives them revelation in deception? The evil one. It means that they are going to be absolutely convinced that whatever they say is correct. And you wrong. Do you know how many people are praying for you to be delivered from him?
Yes.
Because you were right and you went off course? And they pray that you come back to Jesus? Why? See? Why are they doing that? Because they're convinced that they're right. So we want to discuss certain doctrines here from the text to show you how little words, not simple words, little words have thrown people into spiritual chaos. Yes?
So Apostle, I'm seeing now,
Because
I'm seeing saints. I am now seeing saints on Facebook saying, who do you look like or who would you be like on a particular app? And then they give an answer. And I'm seeing other saints responding and saying, yes. And they liked it. It has been going on for more than a year now.
okay.
Can you give some address or redress to that,
I can only give redress to if it's something that is spiritually wrong. What I can warn you is that many of these things generate the practice of psychic dimension, fortune telling. If ever something says, what would you be 10 years from now? And you try it, it means you have an interest in knowing the future beyond what Yahweh said. It helps you to practice psychic consultation. So when that spirit arises, you are already trained to be okay with it. Let me just give some of you leap freedom. If you're ugly in 2019, you will be ugly in 2030. Don't sweat. If you're handsome now, you're going to be handsome later. Bottom line. How ugly will you be? It's a different story. Yes, Bishop. Face this.
The one thing that worries me though is that some of these people who follow these practices are people who profess to be seeking after truth.
Right.
Now, if you are seeking after truth and you play or engage in some activity that tells you what you will be several years from now, or with whom you are more closely aligned or shall be closely aligned several years from now, then the question I would ask is that truth? If the answer is no, it is not truth, but you are still engaged in that kind of activity, how can you be at the same time pursuing truth?
All right.
Little do you know that you are deceiving yourself.
True. True.
There's only one person who can lead you into all truth, and it is found nowhere on social media. So it's either you're following who shall lead you into all truth, or you're following some deception that is leading you to believe that you're in pursuit of truth.
Thank you. This is good. I love to go already. Additionally, it's a form of vanity. And it should not be among us.
Amen.
Amen? Which we'll get to in the next part. So I call the panelists because this is where it is easy for a person to be deceived by just reading words, as Pastor Mark rightly said, spiritually in tune. People can be easily deceived into reading words, and they do not see revelation because it wasn't given to them. So I called Apostle Thomas, I called Daddy, Apostle Joshua, Apostle Lambert, who so ably helped me yesterday. And we'll talk about 1 Timothy chapter 2, which is one of the most complicated parts of Shaul's letter. Caused a lot of trouble in churches and still will. Even this morning, some of you may be troubled by what you hear or perplexed. But while they're coming, let me use my mic. While they're coming, let me just establish this. May I have some water, please, Pastor Mark? Thank you so much. While they're coming, let me just establish something in this room right now. Right here, right now. There's Apostle Lambert from New Jersey, from Babis first. There you go. Apostle Joshua Bessoon from Babis, and then Daddy from Babis.
Oh,
I'm
man.
surrounded by Babishans here, but it's a good thing.
I'm from
saying.
Barbies.
You from Babis too?
Yes.
I was born in Linden.
Barn Barbershop.
And I grew up I'm from Maxwell Alley. Rich and Burn. And of course we have a boy.
I'm from El Dorado.
Oh, yeah, listen here, the gold is somewhere around there. Thank you so much. And we have Apostle Thomas, of course, with us. I'm wearing one of Regina's shirt today as well. Grace found me. And that's good. I didn't find Grace. You know, I teach people right, they present the right information. Grace found us. She's making efforts to have these shirts available in Guyana, by the way. And I'd love for us to have them to walk the streets with joy. To show the work of a saint. And that we are not people who don't have anything to do. But we're advancing step by step. Anyone with business in the kingdom, we must support them. I would rather buy my daughter's t-shirts than go buy some sodomite named Versace clothes.
Come on.
Versace had a boyfriend.
That's right. I'm paying a whole lot for it.
And you paying more than anything
That's
for
right.
Auntie Man clothes. Don't want to start with more. Tommy Hilfiger doesn't like black people. Most Italian designers hate black people. And black doesn't mean this alone. Black means if you're not white, you're black. They hate, despise people, but they know that you like to buy their clothes because they give you a sense of worth when you buy something expensive. The poorest thinker thinks like that. Never spend money to feel important. No. It's a poor mentality to have. Sorry. Alright, so Regina's supposed to have a production line here, and we will support her as much as we can.
That's right.
As Yahweh gives us the grace to do. Amen? Alright, now, as I said, let me give you a warning, please. Yahweh's Spirit never confuses you.
Amen.
Never say to a preacher or a leader, I am confused. You cannot be confused by Holy Spirit.
Never.
He never will.
Okay.
What you may be is uncertain about something or unclear, but never confused.
Right.
Truth can't confuse you.
No.
What also happened is the words in certain scriptures, even the complete Jewish Bible, that's why we are led and should be wise enough to cross-reference things. Don't just read one Bible and say, that's it. Because you have different writings and some bring out more clarity than the others. However, revelation only comes from Yahweh's Spirit. You could have 1,000,000 study Bibles, and if Ruach HaKodesh doesn't open your understanding, you're blind and reading still. So 1 Timothy chapter 2, we get to the part with women and the rest of it, but the first section causes, or the first two sections, a great challenge, from verse 1 to verse 4. First of all, 1 Timothy chapter 2 now. Who's Shaul talking to?
Timothy.
His son, Timothy. Good. First of all, then I counsel. He's counseling his son about how his son should function in his absence.
True.
About how his son, yes, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. First of all then, I counsel that petitions be made. Where's in your Bible?
Petitions, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all human beings.
Alright, good. But he said, first of all, then, you see that statement?
Yeah.
Till chapter 2 begins?
Yeah.
Now, it's a letter he's writing. So he never had chapters and verses. People did that over time.
Yes.
So they made you lose a sense of continuity in thinking. And it's not good. Don't read the Bible if you do chapter this, verse that, chapter. It's good to direct people how to find something. But it's not good to learn how to read. Reading has to have a complete thought applied to it. So Shaul had to say something before for him to say, firstly then, I'm counseling you to do something. Something happened before that. Interestingly, I'll show you what happened before that. Go back to chapter 1. Verse 18. This charge, son Timotheus, I put to you, in keeping with the prophecies already made about you, so that by these prophecies you may fight the good fight, armed with trust and a good conscience. By rejecting conscience, some have made shipwreck of their trust, of their faith. Among them are Hymenaeus and Alexander. I have turned them over to Hasatan the adversary, so that they will learn to not insult Yahweh. First of all then, I counsel you, because you are exposed to some very harsh spiritual environments. And because of this, I want to teach you, son, how to go forward as a leader of the church. Knowing your environment. The first counsel is that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all human beings. First doctrinal problem the church has right here. Should we pray for everybody?
No.
How is it in the scriptures that say pray for all human beings?
Context.
What does he say?
He's
Try to say
talking,
context.
he's talking to Timothy and he's dealing with the church.
Let's see then. Verse 2 says what? Including kings.
And all prominent.
All positions of prominence or authority then. So that we may lead quiet and peaceful lives. So what is the prayer about?
Peaceful life.
Not for them to be saved and all that.
Woo! You all heard that? Did you hear him say pray that Yahweh save all people?
No.
Why must you? Because he just told him Hymenaeus and Alexander were rough. So I don't want you to have this harsh kind of treatment from people, son. Therefore pray that Yahweh gives you peace. Your life must be easy then. I don't want you to have a harsh life as I do. That's a father's heart. He doesn't want his son to endure certain things. That's a father's heart. He never said you must pray for them to be saved. He said pray so that we may lead quiet and peaceful lives. This is Shaul's counsel. His heart. But Shaul also knew later on, he told Timothy, perilous days will come. Because when he gave his counsel, he still knows Yahweh's command. That I will show you what you'll suffer for my name's sake. That's what Yeshua told him. He said, in this life there will be tribulation. It will happen.
Yes.
But in your environment where you live, son, pray that you're going to be alright. Because it's kind of rough. Now, since we as a church don't face persecution in that level, we don't understand what he's saying here. Nobody comes to drag you out of your house and say we have something in the sports somewhere, we have lions and tigers and jaguar in the ground, and we throw you in the middle of the field to see which one will eat you first. That was a natural occurrence for the saints in this day.
Yeah.
It was game. And the mayor and stuff will come and fold his hand and say, let the lions go. And then they ask you a question, Brian, you still want to believe this Yeshua foolishness? Or you'll follow our God? Half of you will say, well, it's even that serious. Because it's possible for it to, the saints then said, I still believe.
Yes.
And in the reality of that situation, Shaul said, pray that we have a quiet life. And a peaceful life. Being godly and upright in everything. This is what Yahweh, our deliverer, regards as good. Pray for kings before we go to the women part. Don't pray for Granger. And you don't pray for Jack Dale. And if the PPP wins election, don't stop praying for the president because you're disobedient.
That's right.
In the US, I rebuke you all publicly today. You cannot refuse to pray for Donald Trump and say that you're a child of Yahweh.
That's right.
You have to make petitions for anybody who rules you.
That's right.
And the prayer is, Yahweh, let them have laws that don't put too much pressure on us as saints.
That is it. Right. That is it. Right. That's it.
Do you know why pastors in trouble now in Canada? Because when the Sodomites were acting up, they said they will never bother us in the church. They ain't that crazy. They just want to have their own man on the outside. So let the men go along with the men, women, the women. It doesn't bother us. We safe. And then the Sodomites say, you're safe? We want to be married in church. And if you don't do it, you're acting in hate. Now they're trying to scrap around and say, no, what we can do, you can't fix nothing. Finally, some older preachers had a confession to make in Canada. They said, we missed the moment to stand from the beginning because we thought they will never come to the church and say, accept us.
The Father put you in a position to bring you to subjection.
Yes, sir. Bless you, Brian. Canada is subjection now. Go ahead.
Can I preach against them either, or else you're going to lose your license? If you're on TV station, you do that, they're going after the TV station plus you.
And you're arrested. And what happened to me when I preach against them again? They roll a TV station. That's what Sodomites love to do. They don't stop. So, Yahweh, please let them make laws that keep us at peace.
Right.
The laws of Guyana as is don't bother me.
True.
Not to that degree. But the laws that they want to add have begun to concern me, which is why we're so loud. Because when you want to tell me that the Caribbean Court of Justice could say that Guyanese men could dress like women,
Against Yahweh law.
but the churches are celebrating the president as a man of God. Which one? If you are in the United States of America, it doesn't give you an excuse to dishonor this instruction. Because whether you believe it, Trump could begin to make laws that cripple every one of you.
Yes.
Because you failed to pray that you have a peaceful life. Now, is everyone clear on that aspect of what it means?
Yes.
Perfect. The next one is another doctrinal issue in verse 4. He, Yahweh, wants all humanity to be delivered and come to the full knowledge of the truth. And people use this one here to say, you have a choice. Again, it is a contextual statement. Shaul is helping his son to understand, or actually Timothy knew Hebrew. He understood the Hebrew culture. He's the son of a Pharisee's former one named Shaul. So his father would have taught him some deep things about Yahweh's word, which includes the fact that the word humanity or men, all men, doesn't mean the entire planet. English is our enemy.
Yes.
Because if this is what he's saying, how then does Ephesians, the same Shaul, write and say that we, the saints, were chosen in Yeshua, Messiah, before the world was formed, to be holy? The saints, not everybody. But it gets more complicated than that. If Yahweh wants everybody to be delivered, and we call him all-powerful, how can he fail to do what he wants? How can your God have all power to save you, but he can't save somebody else? So this cannot be what it's saying.
And he has chosen few.
Many are called. If he has the power to choose, how can he not have the power to deliver? Yahweh has too much power to be incapable of going beyond your will. In other words, if Yahweh wants you to go down the road, you will.
That's right. Jonah is an example.
What he told Pharaoh? What he told Moshe about Pharaoh?
I raise you
I will
up.
send you to Pharaoh. I will harden his mind. I will control his will. I'll make him tell you no. So I can kill him. What part of that brother Pharaoh had a choice?
None.
So this text is not about Yahweh Sidimak saying, I cannot deliver everybody. Yahweh wants all who are his to be delivered. And all who are his to come to the knowledge of the truth. Because Romans 9 makes it clear, we are saved according to the will and purpose of Yahweh, not ours. Now, let's get down to the part where we want to talk about our women and our brothers. Verse number 8. Therefore, it is my wish. Do you see that in the scripture?
Yes.
Okay. That when the men pray, no matter where, they should lift up hands that are holy. They should not become angry or get into arguments. And people take that one line and say, why are you arguing with the name of Jesus? They knew nothing about the culture of Ephesus. We have, like Mom Joseph talked about it yesterday, and I'm so glad she raised it. We have some arguments in church that are very unique. In that if somebody could sing and you think you could sing better, when it's your turn to sing, that's your turn to argue. If you know what I mean. So the person takes the microphone and they begin to work, and all they're doing is singing with the person in mind. Some so bad they choose the same song to show how to sing it right. And they're contending instead of worshiping. But Ephesus and those places had some more hardcore people. They had that kind of shit. So they used to argue in the big in the church. Remember Messiah had some disciples like that? I'm greater than you. No, you're greater than me. Yes, I'm greater than you. I saw this and I saw that. And he said, hey, stop y'all, calm down. Whoever desires to be great must first serve.
Glory!
The arguments here are along those lines. Men, whenever you pray, hands must be lifted that are holy. Don't engage yourself in arguments and on fighting in the prayer meeting. Because we have authority issues in the church.
True.
Who is more spiritual? Which one of us could preach better? Who got a better word? Who could prophesy better? Who makes you feel better when they preach?
Right.
Which one isn't too aggressive? Which one talks nice and soft? That's Daddy now, that's Elder, oh my Lord. Elder and Apostle Lambert, and they talk so nice and softly. They make me feel at peace. But girl, when Apostle Nigel take the microphone, oh Lord. And what you don't realize is that these two are more lethal than me. Because my father, when he reads what you say on Facebook and sees that you're stupid, he doesn't even give you the chance to know he thinks you're stupid. He just leaves you right there drowning in an ocean of stupidity. When I'm thinking, well, Baya could give her one chance to save herself here. And try to give you some explanation, man, now at least, I know you're stupid here, but let me see if I could reduce it a little bit. He's saying that everything. Apostle Lambert say, what happened, man? A pig is a pig, a goat is a goat, a dog is a dog. Whatever. You're dumb, finish. I'm trying to be nice and show you the scripture said that, the scripture says say this. But we don't see, and I love them for that. Because sometimes when I begin to stretch my patience, they remind me through their actions. Stop. Keep moving. Likewise, the women, when they pray, who?
When they pray.
All right. Women, when they pray, verse 9, should be dressed how?
Modestly. When they pray.
All right. So panelists, you're ready here now? Where in this do you see when they come to church? Now don't go ahead of yourself and think I'm telling you you're free to wear swimsuit in church. Let's take it one step at a time. Do you see what show this counseling is sent to hear about? Likewise, the women, when they pray, pray where?
When they pray.
All right. It can't be when they pray in the closet. Because it's a private space. Were women permitted to pray publicly?
Yes.
How do you know that? The text suggests the church. You can't be telling you how to dress in your house, in some room by yourself in your bedroom praying. He's talking about Ephesus, the church. When your men pray, let their hands be lifted. And they must not be competing with one another. Likewise,
Right, same place.
in the same manner, when the women, plural, when they pray, they should be dressed modestly. Where in that do you Facebook preachers who like to jump to your stupid conclusions and be just crazy? Where in that do you see it say a woman can't talk in church? How you could pray and don't talk? Can you pray without talking in church?
No.
So how have we chosen, not we, but people chosen, to silence our sisters?
Because they're ready to be speak.
Let your women keep silent. And Shaul said, when they pray. So you see trouble already?
Apostle, thank you so much for that clarification, because in Melody there is a brethren church, and the women, they would have to wear this veil. You can't go in with your head uncovered.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to say something, the women have to speak, tell whatever they want to say through a man, and then he says what they want to say, which I find is very crazy.
Because the text, thank you, Sister Juliana, the text was taken to suit those who were unable to read or were reading in deception. That's why I said the whole world is under the control of the adversary. And therefore those in churches, as they call themselves, who are under his control, will always use these texts to make our sisters become slaves and nobodies. My concern is, they can't pray, they can't say a word, but when it's offering time, so your money can talk, but you mustn't speak.
So apostle, they cannot worship.
No, they can't worship you. That's what they say. Women, when they pray, should be dressed modestly. and sensibly in respectable attire, not with elaborate hairstyles and gold jewelry or pearls or expensive clothes. Why? There's somebody that they deal with, and I understand what the scripture means. And some of you may have that issue that I'll address this morning, or we can address it as fathers in the faith. If somebody calls you today, I'm talking to my daughters and sisters here. If somebody calls you today, let's say you're a friend of yours because she won't get married, and the person says, Sister Ned, I want you to come and preach for Easter Sunday service. You just say that. If her first thought is, what will I wear? She has a problem. Not what will I say, what will I wear? If ever the first line of thinking is how you look, you are proud. That's why I said to the folk in Georgetown, don't come to Linden with the most expensive anything and dress up to show somebody how well you can dress. Because once we get in that vein, we fall into this problem right here. Where how the women knew that if they called to pray, they have to stand in the public. They have to be before everybody. So if I now have to stand before you, I have to go to the salon and get a 7 color. Because 1 color can't work for this prayer here. You have to see me when I do this here. Yes. And I have to get red bottoms. Because when I start praying in my red bottoms, I have to pray, yes, no, yes. Right. Jesus, when the Jesus. You got to see the bottom of the shoes now. Yes.
A lot of confusion in couples and in marriages. Because the first thing the men say is that the women want a lot of, always want their nails done and their hair done and their expensive clothes and all of that. It's bringing a lot of problems in relations. And even young men who are not married saying that too.
They know they're under pressure. You know why many young men are single, Sister Novella? Yes.
Just for further clarification, shoes with red bottoms has a very significant meaning. Women in power and prestige, even when you look at international news, you will always see the focus on the red bottom shoes for certain men, women are really because it's a statement, it's a fashion statement of my status. So that's why it's important when you hear the person speak about red bottom shoes.
A pair of red bottoms could cost you $180,000 Ghana easy. Yeah.
Not if you spray the bottom on.
If you spray. They're red. So, right. And you have, what's that? Did anyone he said? He said not if he sprayed up with the bottom red. So we have women who say they love Yahweh, they love Yeshua, but the moment they hear they have to stand or they think they have to stand, or some of them don't have to stand anywhere, they just dress to come to fellowship. And it takes a 2-hour process. Why? Further to that, they are dressing with another sister in mind. So when they're home, when she's home and she's getting dressed now, she opens the closet or the wardrobe as you call it, and she sees, okay, this dress here is $100,000 Ghana. That one who thinks she's so spiritual can't afford it. So I'll wear it to show her that when we all stand in front of the church to sing, you are still beneath me. This is what Shaul meant when he said, all women, whenever you stand in front here, be modest. Which means tone it down to the point whereby, you're looking like this now, the poorest sister must not think that you're better than she is.
Oh, glory!
Don't dress like pastor wife, don't dress like first lady, because I don't know who they are. Find the sister who you see can't afford it, and then dress like her. Can you do that one?
Yes, yes.
Apostle.
Yes.
Love with direct.
Yes.
Now you see here this morning we find out who got Ruach HaKodesh and who got Haksah. Because when you get Ruach HaKodesh, he knows the sister is coming. Who doesn't have what you have. And he knows when you open that closet and you start thinking, well, first lady will read this morning, so I'll wear it too. You're already off course. You are already in your flesh. Then you go to the shoe section. This one with these red bottoms here. And some get it so bad that the red bottom fake.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Spray on.
Spray bottom. They just want to show they have it. Some women in our churches wear heel height according to competition. Not fashion. And if we don't stop it, it will find a way among us and begin to control your actions to the extent that if your husband can't afford to give it to you, he's a failure. And he's getting reactions from you, don't know why these reactions coming. But you mad every week. I don't know why God put me in this situation. Oh, Father, change it, change it. And you don't know tell him to change it yet. You pray that the Lord will give him enough money so you can get enough money to buy your shoes and the dress and the hat and everything else and the natural Brazilian hair.
So, Apostle, when everything should be done decently and in order, that is indecency.
It is indecent, it is immodest to dress in a manner that makes any sister feel intimidated. Bless you. Sure. You shouldn't do it.
Amen.
You must be deliberate about knowing who's around you in the fellowship. If they wear your size, dress them up to your status. Without talking about it. Don't go holding nobody and say, I just like how this look. I like how this look. I like how this look. Oh my God, sis, God has fit you good. I got one more like that for you. If you do that, I rebuke you publicly.
Yes. Yes.
Because you're out of order.
Yes.
Don't bring it to church. As they call it. Take it to a neutral zone. Where nobody sees. That's the possible. Go ahead.
You can wear the clothes, or the clothes can wear you.
Right.
That's the difference. When you wear the clothes, you look good. But when the clothes wear you, you can't look good.
Yes.
You know, I have learned this early. Clothes does not give me worth.
Oh my gosh.
I give clothes worth.
Amen.
I make clothes look good.
Amen.
I make cologne sweet. Because if I use it, it can smell sweet.
I asked a woman, looking good and being good is two different things.
Say it in the mic of Mary.
Looking good and being good is two different thing.
Very different.
She thought and she tell me, she said, Brian, carry you. Oh, man.
Yes. 1 second. 1 second, my good. Yes. Melody, go ahead.
Also, do you know if back in the days, the elaborate hairstyles that they were talking about in the scriptures, if it was false hair, which used to wear back then?
No. The women of those, remember this is a European territory, so they really had lengthy hair naturally. Right? But it would have been the way they fixed it. And remember, Shaul isn't saying don't fix your hair nice enough. He's saying when you have to pray, don't make that the focus. In other words, when you have to come to the front of an environment, don't let how you look be most important. For me, and because the child I have that's always in the forefront is Regina. I am very strict with her on this. I don't play with that. If you say you have to travel in the first you tell me is what will I wear, I rebuke her in a second. Sometimes I say you ain't going anywhere. Because if what you wear is what is most important when you travel, what you're going for. But you see, Tasha Cobbs and these people have sold the idea that you dress in a certain manner.
To meet your king.
And that's how it qualifies people to receive you. I'm not saying that you dress like a hag and think, okay, then yeah, it's cool. No. You must be able to handle yourself properly as a lady. Smell right, dress right, or don't dress with the wrong ideas in mind. Yes?
I personally have one problem with helping people. Sometimes you help people and then they go announcing it to everybody else. Why is that so? If you want it to just be anonymous, right? They go tell everybody and then everybody come on and pretend that they need help just because they hear that you can help. So is it wrong to feel that somebody should just be quiet if you help them? Because I personally don't like it. If I help somebody, that's just it, leave it right there. I really don't like the announcement.
Well, and I'm glad you express your personal preference, which is a good thing. And you're much like me. If I help you, then it's done for me as far as I'm concerned. But some persons are so excited, overjoyed, and grateful for the fact that you did it, that they can't help but tell it. Now, who they tell it to is a problem. And that is why we must be willing to assess who we give things to. If ever Ruach HaKodesh wants you to give anything to anybody, you'll be at peace doing it. I'm talking the context now.
Amen.
At peace meaning, I don't have to be afraid that if I give this to you, you will use me.
Amen.
Or you'll find friends to use me. Saints in the church, let me say this as a father to many. Whatever you have belongs to you in the earthly sense. You have every right to say no if somebody comes for it. Because it's yours. Don't lie. If you feel some sister or brothers approaching because they're an opportunist, say, I'm not giving it to you. Simple. It's yours.
I know a lot of that young lot.
I told somebody one time that they say, man, Apostle, I can't believe that this person, they want to help me, and I can. And we talk love. I said, stop. Is it yours? Or you're asking for it? And Apostle, I've been asking. I said, it is not your own. How are you mad for what is not your own? It doesn't belong to you.
You demonstrating that young adult.
Apostle, a next thing that sometimes somebody asks you for something and the lie comes I don't have. So
that's what I'm saying.
Have it.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
God, best to tell the person I'm not giving you.
They don't want to say no, so they say, sis, I don't have it. No, I have it, but I ain't giving it to you.
Praise the Lord. One of my gifts is giving. And over the years, I have a lot of experience
Oh, yes.
with it. I can write books. The word of Yahweh says, when you give with this hand, let this hand. Also, the word of Yahweh says that if you give and you become a loudspeaker, you receive your reward. So if a person give you and they go broadcast, don't worry. The Lord has moved the person to give to you, and the person go broadcast, the person has received his reward. Why you gotta fret and worry? Is he or she black? His mouth. You first of all, you don't ask the person for nothing.
Right.
So why worry? Why fret over the issue? I shock enough for you.
This question of giving almost always comes up. And I've heard these types of concerns many times before. Firstly, to address the question of the person broadcasting the good that you've done, read the scripture. Even when Yeshua told them, look, don't tell anyone, just go show yourself to the priest, they still broadcast. What they do is not your concern. Scripture is very clear. It says to you that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And once Ruach HaKodesh moves you to give, you give. You nor I have no control over what the receiver does after you give him. Your concern is to give as you are moved to give. If you concern yourselves with your giving being premised on an expected behavior, then you are giving in the wrong state of mind. And I have always told my children that giving, you can never give yourself into poverty.
No, all right.
If that happens, scripture isn't right. You can never give yourself into poverty. And my philosophy, even before I became a Christian, was that always, well, I should say, before I became saved, because I've always been a Christian. But my philosophy, based on what I've seen my parents do, is that my being here is not for my own well-being, but is to give a better quality of life to someone else. Everything, and after I started going to church, I've always told myself that whatever Yahweh gives to me, He has given it to me so that I can use it to make the world a better place by giving to somebody or helping somebody or doing some good. So the attitude in giving must always be, it must never be how it affects me. It must always be, how is my giving affecting someone else?
Okay, just before Apostle Joshua speaks, I would like to deal with this little part concerning the modest apparel and hair. Somebody asked a question about where did the people back then, where they had their false hair and all that sort of thing. What we need to understand is the time that Shaul wrote his letter, Corinth and other parts of the then known world would have been influenced heavily by Greek mythology and also the Roman lifestyle and a bit of stuff coming out of Egypt. The Greeks in particular, because of the multiplicity of gods and goddesses they worshipped, their devotees were expected to mimic their gods and goddesses, of which hair color was a part of it. Putting a whole lot of, we call it silk, but they used to use gold threads because gold was cheap then. So they would weave gold into the hair and they would have all these precious ornaments there. Like how now is this period, the celebration of the goddess Isa, which we got the word Easter from, which goes all the way back to Nimrod and his mother who became his wife, Semiramis, that brought forth the Son of God, called Tammuz. So they were accustomed around this time to have all the colorful things going on, along with other things, a lot of other sexual things. Now, the children of Yeshua had to be different.
Definitely.
We should never mimic the pagans. Remember again, we should never mimic the pagans. Now, I like dressing a certain way. I like dressing a certain way. However, even as a male, my dress code must demonstrate modesty. As a female, it's the same way. Your dress code must demonstrate modesty. I like seeing lovely hairstyles in females. I don't see these things, but she was downstairs sometime ago. I've nicknamed my daughter the fashion doctor. I don't see her. I don't know if she's downstairs. Yes, but when it comes to the fellowship, our mode of dress should never distract. I'm going to share this with you. I've got a friend, she's still my friend because we all went to high school. And she was a mobile jewelry shop. Let me show you how persons can twist scripture just to please themselves and to impress other people. I said to her, why is it you got to wear all that jewelry? I'm going to take jewelry. Not a little bit of jewelry. She was bling bling and bling bling. And her words to me were, she said, Mount Tom, you got to rest yourself with this conservative way that you hold to you. She said, you forget the Ark of the Covenant was overlaid with gold. Oh my God. She said, let me tell you, boy, when I put on, when I string on this, I just feel more anointed. You know what ended up happening? Thieves went into her home. Thieves went into her home. They did not trouble her. They troubled her anointing. I need to be very careful in terms of where we place the emphasis. Dress and look good, but don't go overboard. Don't stand before the mirror and produce your tally sheet before you leave home, which says, when I walk in there, all eyes will be on me. Because the only one they saw when they were at the Mount of Transfiguration, after they saw Moses and Elijah, a cloud came, and when that cloud was lifted and they looked again, they said they saw none save Yeshua. When Yochanan had the vision in Revelation, he too saw one in the midst. When Nebuchadnezzar had that experience at that furnace, he said, I'm seeing a fourth man. His eyes were fastened on the fourth man. And he said, that got to be something. When we come to fellowship, it's to behold the beauty of His holiness. Amen? Amen.
Apostle. I do enjoy that Apostle just said. Our focus, it's very important, you know, what our focus is. Because since I used to go, when I used to confess the wrong name, my mother's two, I should say, I can only call them, call them what they are, two wicked surviving sisters who hate me for no reason, whatever, I don't know what the reason is. They used to really shower us with this and that, the autumn top this big brand and whatever. But I'm grateful that I didn't even know the value of these things until Sister Wicked and Sister in the church I used to go to then. She used to look at me. I honestly didn't know what that was some brand. Oh, you wearing this? Oh, you wearing that? Oh, you wearing that? And I said, what was it about? And then she started to say, then she made me know the value of these things. And I still didn't let that get to me. So I do believe that our focus is very, very important.
Yes.
And these people who focus mostly on these things, you check them out. They're interested in material things, and the spiritual side is low, zero.
Very good.
So I do subscribe to. If you can't afford that, that doesn't make sense. There, as Apostle just said, the thieves went in and interfered with our anointing. So I don't know what happened to the woman after. You see, so it is important that we focus on the right thing and not.
Thank you so much. Yes, Apostle Josh, Apostle Lambert.
Thank you. Let me say this. We all came out from the Pentecostal church, most of us. And we all were under the bondage of these preachers who teach us tithing and seed sowing. And we came out of it. The Lord has delivered us out from it. But some of us have not been delivered with a mindset when it comes to money. You see, under the law, you were obligated to give what was in the law to give, the 10% and your offerings. And the rest was yours. You do what you want to do with it. Under grace, everything is the Lord's own. You hear that? Under grace, every cent that you earn, that you have, belongs to the Lord. And then under the law, the first thing they teach us is to take out your offering and your tithes. Under grace, the first thing you should do, look after your family.
Right.
Amen. Let your family be looked after first. Let they be comfortable first. And when they are comfortable, you are free in mind to give what you want to give with the rest. Thank you.
Apostle Stephen online.
Yes, he wanted us to look at 1 Kings 3:3-5. And says your beauty should not consist in externals such as fancy hairstyles, gold jewelry, or what you wear. Rather let it be the inner character of your heart with the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit. In God's sight, this is of great value. This is how the holy women of the past who put their hope in God used to adorn themselves and submit to their husbands.
Well, Apostle Stephen jumped out ahead to verse 10, and thank you, appreciate that, because verse 10 is what we talk about that in a second. So, yes, Apostle.
I love to be practical. A lot of these people are just prideful and boastful.
Yes.
I remember in 1995, it would have been one of the most devastating hurricanes in the history of Antigua. That hurricane formed off the coast of Africa and was coming with one straight course. Didn't shift right, left, nor right. And it was picking up speed coming all the time, gaining momentum. If you know about that song that said, Cricket in the Jungle, and the night before it hit Antigua, it shifted a little. And that hurricane passed and hit the walls of a lot of people that faced the roadside. Some of these boastful people, and then people saw what was in the house while they were boasting on the outside. And you can dress looking so good on the outside. But you mean, some of them probably are still wearing an underwear with a string around it. Is your dressing more important than the welfare of your family or putting food on your table? If you're going to leave the importance for the want, you're in some serious trouble. And people like those are envious people.
Right.
Ladies, people like them you don't need to keep around you because they can do anything just to get your money out of your house. And I simply mean they will even go after your husband or your man to take away from you to satisfy their needs. This woman is one of my relatives. She didn't add, she was in a crisis. But yet she could have afforded to take out $15 on what she already didn't add to do her eyelash. Ladies and gentlemen, we are aging from the very moment of conception.
Yes.
As we age into every stage of life, we have to enjoy it. We need to understand that this beauty that is glowing so much now will wither away. You know why I dress? I wear some expensive shoes, but I pay very less for them. I dress because of Yahweh's goodness, His grace and His mercy.
Amen.
Because as a 19-year-old young man, the footwear that I had, it was a rubber slipper. I was promoted to a shoe, and I wore that out the bottom at holes. One day I was running to catch the truck to go to work, and my brief dropped off my waist. When I give what Yahweh gave me to keep, I do it with the intention that my generation will never suffer.
Yes.
It is for the building and the establishment. I do things in order that your child or your grandchildren may be in a position when my grand may not be in a position so that they can remember. Women spend the most on themselves. But when you wake up in the morning, the reality is just the same. Disguising is deception.
True.
And when we function under deception, we function under our father. I should say our father. You function under the father of deception. It's to deceive people, telling them what you are not. And when they find out who you are, it's a different story. You enter into a war zone. And you know when some people are angry at you, especially those who know you, they will put you to shame. So let your dressing be one that does not affect the kingdom or the principles of the kingdom of Yahweh. Amen. Amen. As kingdom people, we are to establish the kingdom. We are to adhere to the principles that govern the kingdom, like in Acts of the Emissaries, or action of the Ruach HaKodesh. They give with an intention so that no one will be in lack. Do not deprive your children and poor people around. Even those who add enough, the farmers, they add to leave something for the poor. Because Yahweh's intention is that the poor must survive. Amen. Amen. And if we can look after the poor, something is definitely, something is radically wrong with us. Amen. And we need to change the way we think. In order for us to have progress, we need to change the way we think. Glory. He has translated us from the kingdom of darkness, not to think like darkness, but to think kingdom like. When the British came in this country, they colonized us. We have to dress and speak the way the Queen wants us to dress and speak. Even so, we need to drop off and lay aside those things that weigh me down. Of course, if we ask a lot of these women why they're wearing that hairstyle, and some men why they're buying a car, why they're doing this, they cannot give you a valid reason.
That's right.
For me, when people around me, the first thing I want to know is the meaning of their names. Because the meaning of the names tell me so much about them.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor, for sharing such a wealth of heavy stuff with us indeed. So let's transition to what Apostle Stephen touched on, because that's the very next verse. So 1 Timothy 5:2, verse 10. Exactly what Kiefer said, Shaul say. Instead of wearing the elaborate hairstyles, the gold jewelry, the pearls and all that, when you have to stand in front to pray, rather, the women should adorn or dress themselves with what is appropriate for women who claim to be worshiping Yahweh. What is it they should adorn themselves with? It says good deeds or good behavior. How much does that cost? Where can you buy it from? Which designer made good deeds? So if you realize what he's saying here is, he's suggesting that when our sisters have cause to come before the fellowship, anybody looking at them must see that their behavior is worthy of gaining my attention. Not their attire, their conduct, how you handle yourself as a woman. And then we go into the part where my sisters get hurt this morning. Let a woman learn in peace. And King James says in silence. Fully submitted. But I do not permit a woman to teach a man or exercise authority over him. Rather, she is to remain at... Alright. And some versions say silence. Does it not? What does that mean? What was he saying? Because he just said if you have to stand and pray, how it should function. Again, you see the nature of Ephesus. Ephesus, based on what Shaul is saying, needed apostolic guidance. The women, as far as he knew it, some of them had been dressing in a manner that tried to show that they're richer than everybody else, they're more important than everybody else. He said, bring it down. Then also you see here, they had an issue submitting to a man. The word woman here is the word gune in Greek, which means a married person. Alright. Sisters, I don't normally issue disclaimers and tell people, you know I love you, so I have to tell you this. Because if I have to tell you that I love you, so I have to tell you this, I actually don't. True. I will tell you the truth because it is the truth. Whether I love you, it's still the truth. The truth is, I began to touch it yesterday, Yahweh, through this apostle's wisdom, Shaul didn't say, heaven told me to say this to you, by the way. Let me just get clear on that. If you notice, he said, I counsel you that this should happen. This he's saying, okay, he knows what happens at Ephesus. So based on his knowledge of what's happening in Ephesus, he's giving you direction to handle Ephesus. We are in Linden, we're not at Ephesus. So if Linden doesn't have this issue, I don't have to raise Ephesus to you. And if Linden has an issue that's not found in the Bible, you must still trust the apostolic leadership to say, this is how we must handle it. That was what Shaul was saying. Are y'all here? Yes. There was no New Testament for him to quote to tell him anything. So he's saying, okay, based on my authority, I'm instructing my son to how to handle the church at Ephesus. We may not have all these issues, but I'm saying that based on what Yahweh has revealed to me, we have a verse 12 problem in many churches, and probably in this one, or gathering, that has to be addressed. And the issue is, it says plainly, I, Shaul, do not permit a woman to teach a man, which is a wife, to teach her husband.
Or to exercise authority.
Husband, man is anier, which is masculine, male, husband.
Of course.
Why? If Apostle Thomas, Apostle Joshua, Apostle Nigel, Apostle Lambert takes a wife in this congregation, puts her over her husband, and say, lead him spiritually, we are all out of order.
True.
You're mighty quiet, but it's all right. You can be free in a second. Because the principle of teaching is that the student submits to the teacher. And according to this, remember the women had a problem if they want to look good and they want to be in charge and look a certain way. So can you imagine if they could dress fancy and then they, husband and the siblings, to them talk head? So they are supercharging the women to reduce the power of a man. Many women in our churches have a great degree of respect for us because we own microphones. And their husbands are lesser respected because they perceive that you're not as spiritual as those who lead me. The day you get married, if you're single here, let me give you a warning now. If you're a single woman in this room or online, and you want to be married to a man, and say that any one of us is your leader, let me make an announcement to you. You are bound to submitting to your husband.
Glory.
You don't have a choice.
True.
If he is in the church, I can't see two of you are sitting in the same congregation, and you can't submit to him. I never said you have to agree with your husband. I said you have to submit to your husband. You could look at your one, look at the other man. If you're single and you don't like man tell you anything, then don't take man. Amen. This thing is complicated. But you're going to feel hot. And feel things. And because the things feel a certain way, you got to find a man. Because I gotta fix this. I don't want to burn. You know, say, I don't want to burn with lust. So I find me a man. Because I could feel my hormones acting up, and I gotta have some release. But when you finish with your release, you're going to submit to the man who give you the release. Because they ain't going down any other way. You will not be a female in any ministry I lead and be a dominant woman.
Never.
It happening. You will not be louder than your husband in any house. 1 second, Brother Jim. When you start feeling say you're going down, don't look at your fault. I don't care how big your mouth big. You will get a volume control, like a remote control, and say dial it down, turn it down, turn it, turn it, turn it. Until it reaches below your husband's tone. You ain't shouting over no man in here. Thank you, son. You can see I'm getting out of ready. Thank you very much. That happening. Because as spiritual as you think you are out of order.
True.
See? And the trouble comes when you have verse 8 or verse 9. Expensive attire, elaborate hairstyle, gold jewelry. So you dress to suit the women's circle. And then show up in church as Madam Dominant. Then when your husband says, listen, you shouldn't be doing that. You're spiritual, you don't understand this thing. You don't get this thing yet. I gotta break it down for you because this is a spiritual matter. And you're blind. You don't see spiritual things. You're slow. But you take him. We're taking for. Who's slow for? Why you take him if he's that bad? You can't talk to me. Are you apostle? That was the problem with Ephesus. And it happens in our churches because they are older women who are old and rebellious. And they don't respect their husbands. And some are called First Lady, an apostle, and prophetess. And she's prophetess, and her husband can't talk.
But some of the prophetesses ain't got no man, they got no
You
husband.
see what I mean? So they got no mind, but they could counsel you to how you must treat your own. We can't have women who are filled with Ruach HaKodesh but can't submit to their husbands. It is not going to happen in the church because you're deceiving yourself.
Charity begins at home.
Where it begin?
At home.
Thank you, sir. Harvard Jr., go ahead before you forget you have to see them and continue.
First of all, I want to thank Yahweh for such an apostle who's been inspired by Yahweh. Yahweh really used you because I sit down here burning me inside so much. Because everything I was speaking there, I passed through these things at the next church. If she was a prophet, she changed it into apostle, and she controlled the pastor.
Wait, let me control the pastor. The husband is what?
He's the pastor.
Man, stop it, man.
I'm speaking from my heart here, I'm sitting here speaking with you. She can't tell to she as how she would bear, but if she leave it up on there, show I don't like it. It is me real. That's why the thing that Yahweh had to leave me out from. The next thing, I have two things that you maybe have to address me with one. I'll have this question. Just one thing I was speaking about people. I love to be Father Moses. I love to. And I love to see people happy. And next thing in the church, not we fellowship, I mean, because I never see this around my saints since I joined cool. Christ our righteous example. I never see it. But sometimes when we tell ourselves that we could give to somebody, I say, man, this is this thing, it brings enemy. Because sisters, they might say, me and Brother Junior more than how we could give it up. You give me none.
Right.
So these things is bring enemy where you give it, you give. And because if you like to give like me, well, you will give all of them, but you could afford to give all of them. But my name would be But I would really truly like for you to address me with this part, with this next thing. As a big man, your father tell me that the word, if they did it in the word, say that it's blessed to give than to receive. But I would like to address me if I'm wrong. I see the word, it said it's blessed to give, also it's blessed to receive, because our biggest giver is our Father which is in heaven. So as He gives, we have to receive to God. We might not receive from the person who we give to, but we receive it from the Father which is in heaven.
All right. The scripture says it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. See? So it can't be both. Because He's saying to be in the position to give means you're more favored than the one who's in the position to receive. So most of you who would have been in the old church and always have to give to the preacher for his birthday until it hurts, you're more blessed than he is. Because you are more empowered to give than he is. Alright? And that's what it is. So it is more, you are in a better position to give than you always have to stand with your hand out, because those who have to stand that way are not as blessed as you are. Alright? Good. Our Sister Misha hand is up. Then, Janet.
Yes, Apostle. My husband and I are separated, right?
Okay.
And every now and again I give you a little shout. Is that wrong?
Every now and again give you a little shout? If you are separated in Scripture speaks to not a legal, because you have to understand when Yahweh say divorce with somebody, doesn't mean you have to go to court and withdraw a long set of story. In Yahweh's book, once you see you say I'm done with you, you finish. You're over. The writ of divorce is for legal purposes. If the two of you have agreed that you're not together, you finish upon another, then he's not your husband. He's only your husband when you treat him as if he is your husband. Now, if he does something that warrants her having to be very angry, then be angry. However, if he's back in the house until you're all living together and say, all right, we agree, we come back, we go, whatever differences we had, we forget them or we wash them away to some degree, come back, baby, because I've missed you so much. Once you step in the door, you know no more. See? Because you're bound to respecting him and honoring him. And it's not to say that women you can't express yourself if you get upset. I'm not saying that. If you are upset with your husband, show him you're upset, but be respectful about it. Don't use anger as an excuse to tell your husband whatever you want to say to him. Because if you're mad and you say your girlfriend is upset and girlfriend tells me, you're so stupid, I always know you're a fool. I can't believe that dad makes such a dummy. That, when you come down from the anger platform, it ain't going down to me like that. Because first of all, my wife knows from the time she says you're so stupid, I don't tell her stop. You don't want to see that. You know you don't want to see that. I promise you don't want to see that too. I swear that you don't want to tell me that. So I give you enough chance, thus gaps I give you to calm down here. Because once you say, I don't care, you're stupid. Oh, cool, no problem then. For me, I stop talking. And I come around and go back and forth to my back. You more stupid! You stupid! You! I don't fight women. I don't fight women. By the time you tell me I'm stupid and I say, you sure you want to see that? I know you don't want to see that. I promise you won't tell me that. No, you don't tell me that. And she keeps going down that path. I am quiet because I am finished. Of course. I have nothing else to say to you. I am finished. Because you're not going to tell me I was angry, which many of you didn't hear. That's why I said it. Because the reasoning in my mind is, therefore when you are angry again, what will you tell me the second time? And you'll only find more things to say because the first thing is never harsh enough. Then before you know it, you got to tell me, I know you've been no good all the time. You could have never pleased me anyhow. I just should try a thing. Because you can drift down to that kind of stuff. So before you take me down that part where I feel that my man only live about it, let me leave you alone on the stupid part. The next thing is, and I'm being deadly serious about this, for the sake of Shamaria, Shekinah, Marvelous, and Regina, I will not live with a disrespectful woman. No. the day I teach you kind of that it's okay to disrespect a man in your house, I'm inviting my son-in-law to continuous meetings with me.
So, Apostle.
Yes, sir.
It comes on to the question.
You've awakened from your slumber. You wake up that.
Yes, sir. So it comes on to the question that all men who separated from the roles got to live with. The question is that when you leave, the state legally or the majority of the time award the children to the wife's care, and you becomes a supporter of the children.
Right.
But that is not my problem. My problem becomes now, because your influence is removed from the home, her influence gains ascendancy and influences the children in a manner that they see you as a deserter and hence treat you in the manner that you have deserted them. And here it is now, the children becomes disrespectful to you, the father. How do you reconcile knowing that Yahweh has placed you in a position of being a father to your children and having to live with the consequences of knowing that down the road, if I move out of this home, this is what is going to happen to me?
That is an extremely touching and heartfelt question that I am always eager to address with any man. There's no time on this planet, if real bad things happen and girlfriend and I get through it, and it gets to the state where I talk about it now, that Shekinah, Shamaria, Marvelous, or Virginia can disrespect me. Never. No child of mine can disrespect me. If I'm in the house or out of the house. Because one of us, Jessica, will come forth. My children know I love them and I love them dearly. Secondly, while I am alive, I remain your father.
Of course.
I will beat you on the road. You could quote that to look about where he is. I don't play that game. No child disrespects me. None of them. If I'm with your mother or I'm not with your mother, you don't disrespect me. And based on the love I've shown you and continue to show you, your mother could never tell you not a good father you accepted. Never. Because that's why I say it publicly. They heard me say today, if your mom tell me I'm stupid, you're an idiot, you're donkey, and all that. And you hear her say that. And she doesn't turn to tell you, she kind of, Mom, you was wrong, I shouldn't do that. I was really wrong, I should never do that. But she turns to tell you, girl, don't bother the man, don't bother your father. You don't see stupidity. Why do it in the house? They are supposed to know that what you said about my father is not so. Right. Because of my influence on their lives. They know me to be what I am. So it doesn't matter what mommy tries to say. Likewise, if I become stupid and I begin to treat her in a bad way, they should know my mother's not that. No parent could turn a child against you if you are effectively being a parent. And there's a big one. There's a big one right here. Years ago, I told my wife, and in this environment, I can be open with you. When we just got married, I say what happened there. I ain't sure what's going to happen in the future because I was kind of weak back then. My head didn't do good. I said, I ain't sure what's going to happen down the road. Very young boy, 23 years old, 22, married to her. I said, but if we make a child, one child, and you have to leave me, I ask you one thing for the sake of my life. Don't stop me from seeing my child. The day you keep my child away from me, it will be good for you. Because I kick your door down to find my child. No man can stop me from seeing my child. I will find my child at all costs. So she said, well, we agree. So since we agree, we good then. We all right. We got a problem. Because you know that if you tell me I can't see my offspring, No, but I tell the judge, put me in jail to save my life because ain't going down easy to you.
But Apostle, I've seen many men, family members of that, get themselves into big issue because women try to keep their child. And it's a thing with men, especially men that are honorable and want to bring up their children. You can't do that to them.
You
They
suppose,
don't take it.
how you could be in the kingdom claiming to be saved, know a father's importance to a child and then try to keep the child from the father, and tell the child, your daddy's no good, don't listen to the man and all. You are raising a rebel in a female.
Apostle,
Yes.
when I address the first question to you, let me give you some backup. Because I'm talking about me, though I'm asking a question.
Correct.
If you come from an environment where you were the one who was disrespectful, leave the home, go about your business, you're unsaved basically, you're saved. But here it is now, that the parent, the mother, has already formed certain opinions about you in the child's mind, given the fact that yes, you were that. So here it is now, you have come into the kingdom. And now, you are trying to change a perception. But in the child's mind, anytime it seems as if you're harsh, it comes back to the see and change. He's the same person.
Let me, and I'm happy that you raised that as well. First of all, if I am in a position as you claim, and I would have gone away, upon my return, I'll address the children and my wife. I was wrong. I went out and I did something I should not have done and things I should not have done. I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I am back. Number one, with my child, I'm not back to negotiate with my father. I am back being your father.
Of course.
It doesn't change. Yes, I would, in my mind now, I expect her to act, or him to act certain because I wasn't there. So they're mad that they were crying for me and whatever else it is. So I will give room to them filtering that kind of emotion because they hurt. But you filter it with respect. And I'll ensure that I spend some time with you talking and we go out together, we spend time alone, listen, Daddy, know you hurt you good. I know that it was rough, and I know it's kind of hard, but I got you. And I begin to show you from my actions how much I care, including the correction. Now the mother, I was wrong to you as well. I know that I left you and I know that I hurt you. Now, I'm back. You either accept me as being back, or let me go back on you. Because I ain't coming back for you to treat me as I'm still out. I'm either in or I am out. If I am in, you treat me as if I'm the man or the head of the house, because I'll give you cause to believe I am. Now that's where the test comes in. You have to prove that you are.
True.
And give reassurance that you are. But in the interim, in the meanwhile, no woman who says to a man, all right, come back, because I'm ready to live with you as my husband, and we paid for us to work this thing out. And she makes it her duty to make my life hell. So what are we working? What are we working out? You either want me back or you don't. And I'm not coming back on your terms either. I'm coming back on the principles of Yahweh's word. Me come back because I was wrong, you do what you like. I was wrong, so I will do what is right. See? I remain a husband to you. And I'll stand up as a man in this house. And that's 1 second, that's when the thing is crazy. Because one like me now, see my girlfriend come back in the house. Hey. No, we ain't watching no TV till 2 o'clock in the morning. But I used to watch it when you weren't here. Well, I'm here now. Turn it on. Amen. So you gotta stop back being a man in the house again. I hear, I got you, we cover there, we say, but you don't run me, you don't run this shit. Baby, I love you, I'm back. But you're not the man. I've come back as the man. So you don't run in this house. But when you are gone, I ain't gone anymore. I am not gone, I am back. My arrival has announced my authority. Because I came back to be a man of my house.
Yes, Apostle. It's a case that if the wife is submitted to the truth, it's a different scenario to one who is not submitted to the truth. And here it is now. If as you says you're going to leave, the perception of your forced leaving, because a father don't really walk away from his children, he walk away from his wife. But the perception is always that he has walked away from the child because he has left the home. Your wife starts to become insulted to you, knowing that in your head now you're in a conflict. Because you now announce that you're in the kingdom, you're saved, you're doing everything that a father should do in the home. But when it comes to her addressing you or dealing with you, she tells herself that she has an open license to speak to you anyhow, do whatever. And my position is that I am as crazy as the next man. But because of Yahweh's grace, Yahweh is suppressing me to function in this dysfunctional environment, knowing that I have a responsibility to this child.
But more than that, and I'm happy we're having this discussion, maybe it helps some of you, not in this or maybe in a lifetime. If the child is old enough to know actions that are right and wrong, the child wouldn't say it, but the child will see it. And the child can tell that my mother is being disrespectful to my father. The child may not say it, but the child could see it. I have seen cases whereby in time, a child tells the mother, you are the reason my father left you. Not him, you. Because your mouth got you where you were. I have lived to see that. And that is vindication for the father. The father remaining under or at all cost is telling the child, regardless of how a woman treats me, I am bound to disrespect. That is not a good lesson. Because if that child is a girl and gets a man, what do you think she would think is right? She hasn't learned consequences for disrespect. She's learned compromise in disrespect.
But if you leave, Apostle, if you leave, what's the lesson that she learns when you leave the second time? After coming and start showing or being a father to her, what is the lesson she will learn? Because again I'm saying, in your absence, there is a perception in this child mind. This child has already been trained that a man will leave you when the father didn't really leave the child. So there's this constant perception that your father will leave. Here it is now. Problems come up in the home. And he felt that he's slightly disrespected. And the only thing he can do is to leave again. I am saying that the consequences of your second action reinforces that child's perception, what she has been taught in before.
No, and this is where I pray that Yahweh opens you up to hear what I'm saying to you clearly, not you. The first time when you left outside of kingdom principles. You left because flesh led you. The person left because they want another woman or another man or one drink, liquor, whatever it is. Whatever, I just walk away from you. That's the first time. The return is I'm returning in kingdom principle. I'm returning because I've apologized, I said I was wrong, I've repented, I'm transformed. I'm a new creature. The second time, the child is seeing a transformed being. The child isn't seeing what's old. If the mother is still trying to present the old creature, the child has eyes. The child knows that this person is not what I'm hearing you are. All right, but the child is hearing the person that influenced me to think bad about you. It hasn't changed. So the mother is still what the mother is, but you are not what you were. Watch this. At some point, I would not be surprised if the child says, Daddy, you shouldn't live with this. Because this isn't right. Or Mommy, you will make my father leave. Because this man has proven to me that he's righteous. And you prove to me that you're stubborn. The only thing that makes a child not say that is respect for the mother. But the child knows that I am seeing a transformed person. So the second time, if the man walks away, the child isn't feeling what the child said. The mother can say what the mother wants to say. Children of a certain age aren't stupid.
True.
And Yahweh can grace a child to be able to cope with. Remember now, it's a saint who is being treated as if you are nobody in this house. Hands all over the room. All right, beginning one by one. You go this way, then go this way. Yes. The mic is on. Now, before you say anything, are you all clear what I'm saying to you this afternoon? Yes, sir. You understand me?
Yes, of course.
I'm saying this to you as your leader. You can never raise a family effectively by being tolerant of dishonor. You can't do it. It is not. You destroy your children one by one. Bit by bit, they're gonna watch this. If the child doesn't change, you know what happens to you after a while? When you see that magic number that they think 18 comes, oh, you can't do nothing to me. I got my own job. No, she's showing you mommy right here. Because after all, you weren't man enough to stand up to her. She ain't man enough to stand up to me.
My father told me a man must be a man and stop complaining. Complaining is a trick of the devil.
Listen.
He said deal with problem from the root and not brush cutting it.
Don't brush
it
cut.
wasn't growing no more.
Bless you, Father. Yes, Sister John. Cut it from the root.
Yeah, Apostle. I have two questions. And the first one is, what is the difference between submission, manipulation, and control in a marriage or a relationship, right? Because in my marriage, I will give you the second one. In my marriage that I had, it was mostly like a manipulation something and a control, because even though we get divorced, he still had no time with my children. Even if they're in trouble and anything I call, he never turn up. You tried it. And after all he is doing is the ATM portion to make sure that they get it, but nothing else, not even to come to find out how to do it. And the first thing, if you got a problem with him, he said, you black man, you so stupid, black man so foolish, are you this, and all kind of insultive things. And I tolerated for a long time because I thought it was submission, right? And if you have to talk a dialogue or something, it never come over in the right way because he never sees what you're saying is making any sense. You're stupid. And I hear that stupid, stupid, stupid for such a long time that even I myself think I was really stupid.
Well, let me answer the question first. Yeah, that's fine. Submission, manipulation, and control. There's a very different, because submission is always a willing act. You choose based on your knowledge to say, I will submit myself to a person. I will be under the person's authority. That's submission.
Yeah.
Manipulation and control takes away that will from you. And there's a force now being used to say, you do what I want. Okay?
Yeah.
That is not what saints do. We don't control and manipulate. The female knows that, okay, she knows that the man has authority, I will submit to his authority because it is given it by Yahweh. Yahweh chose to make you female. He chose to make me a man. I can't do anything but that, and you can't do anything but it either. That's just what it is. Alright? Second question. Because you have a lot of questions around, so we will do them as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it's actually the same. So.
Okay. Oh, that's 1, 2. Second person. So you come in front and say. Yeah.
Yes, Apostle. My question to you is the same way they explained that separation. I got separation in my marriage, and the minors in my marriage is from age 5, my husband leave. That's the last one. And one was like 8, and the next one was like 10. And because of that, I used to be submitted to my husband because of sometimes he insult me and tell me a lot of things. I'll be out of the house, and I will submit to it. And it get to me that I'm a child of Yahweh, and I ain't supposed to submit to a man that is not living with me. Yes, we get children, but when it comes to the children, look after the children.
Right.
You cannot try to rule me because you, if you don't want to rule me, you would be in the house.
Thank you so much.
Right? And he tried to say that I make the children don't like him. They make more time for me. They with me, but they live with me, and they don't want to go and see him where he is. And he saying sometimes come and show slang because he's come at the home talking to children, and he will say, "Yeah, but who you are listening to?" and them thing. But those children that I'm talking about now, the last one is 14. Another one is 17, and one is 19. When he moved out of the home, the children was well touched by it and reached by it. And I used to walk and sell at that time. And if they get to my head, I could not do it. And I had to go and work with someone. When I go home, that time, I used to celebrate Christmas. And December month, during the holiday time, I go home, the children do the work and thing. And a day I look on the wall and I see my daughter was 19 now. At the time she was like 10, but 12. And she write up, if Adrian Mingan come home, he could never get through in life. Yeah, at that time. And it used to touch me because I used to teach them the right and them things. But because of the way how we would come and talk and go on, these children now don't want to do nothing with him, have nothing to do with him. Although he support, he tell himself because he support, they're supposed to come to him and show him love and them things. But he don't understand. Money is not all.
Right.
It's a portion that's with them to take and think. Does it? And I moved to so much a state that this man telling me and the last word I could remember, he tell me, he come in the home and he talked to the one who's 14 and he said, "You must get some textbook." She answered, you answering, I want your stepfathers, them gonna give you it. Because that is the way thing that he say make him move out the house.
Oh, okay.
But I prove him, Yahweh prove him a liar all the time. Because I've never let my children see that way. That's why my children respect me. But all of that, the children them, it go into their mind, they start to do a lot of things. I still stick there with my children. I still tell them what is right and what is wrong, and everything.
The gist of what you're saying is so important in that they saw the effect of him leaving.
Yes.
And they saw the truth of your staying.
Yeah.
They saw that you did not turn out to be the person who.
Yes.
Sometimes children grow up and they have said,
yes,
people, and they can make a genuine assessment of who really did what.
Yes.
Now, once they do that, I'm sorry for the one they judge and say, you know what, you the cause of this. Because once they get to that stage, that relationship is fixed easily.
Yes, because the boy was 17, he was the one that used to go and ask him to come back home. And he didn't do it. And the last time I asked my son, I said, "You not tell your father to come back home?" He said, "No, my father said he's the old big man. He didn't get time with that and thing. So I'm glad for all of these teachings that I could be strong in Yahweh.
Bless you, thank you. And this is a general statement across the board. If your husband walks out of the house, he's not in charge of the house. You can't rule from another house. I know pastors used to tell you all a lot of stuff, but you got to hold on and pull it out, and the man is somebody else, then you come back and say, in charge. You're in charge here. You're in charge of that side. Because departure, the scripture says, if the unbeliever leaves, let them go. Leave him when you go out of the house and you go on your way. You can't go and stay. Alright? Yes, go ahead.
Question.
You have to speak Lord, so you
A question I want to ask. In the case of child abuse, where it's my child's father, but the child was complaining at the point of time of him abusing her, right? She was 3 at that point in time, so he said that I would have put that in her head to say or to lie about him. When we reach in front of the welfare officer, he would have said exactly what he would have did. But according to what they were saying, they said when he realized what he was saying, he started to change up his story. No, the matter never reached the place of the court or anyway, because when we reached the place of DPP, they called me and they say that all that they asked the police to do, they didn't do anything. So he looked like the same. So he started to paint me as the bad one. But the child kept growing. And the more, because the other day the taxi driver told me that when he went to the school, she saw him and she was like, look at this wicked man. Protect me, I don't want nothing to do with him. And it brought tears to my eyes because I thought that, all right, if he's saying, because all I keep asking Yahweh is, what really happened? I wasn't there. All I know is that I trusted him to take care of her, and she keeps complaining. But when she got so mad in school, it was publicly, that she turned and she addressed him in front of everybody at the school. And he took her and slammed her down in the chair. But I keep getting pain as a wicked mother being putting these things in this child's head. Yahweh knows that I'm not saying anything to her, but she keeps repeating it. Even though she cannot repeat everything, it's something specific she keeps repeating. To the place whereby she turned and she asked me, she said, take nothing from him, I don't want anything. But I know that the court said that I have to mind her. So the place now, what I have to do, but I asked him the other day, I said, do you honestly forget to send this child for me every month, or do I have to ask you? He said, man, he just forget, but please remind him. One of the questions is, should I keep reminding him every month to be calling his phone to say, where is this child, monthly child support? The second thing is that, as a mother, how do I speak to my child? Because I would have teach her the principle as to, if you have a problem with somebody inside the school, do not receive anything from them.
Okay, first of all, the child, as is described, is a child. If the court says the child is to be taken care of by the father, by the elder, the child will be taken care of by the father. That's a court. Is it a court instruction? If the court instructed, we don't have to remind him. You don't remind people to obey the law. That's not your job. He's to obey what the court says. If he fails to do what the court says, then you report to the court. You're not a secretary. You can hire somebody to remind him. He has a phone. That's smart. If the phone is dumbly right on the wall, you never remind a man to be honorable or respectful. That's right. Or responsible. That's the first thing. Secondly, the child has no say in whether the father takes care of her or him, because it's a child. If the court says you care for this child until 18, that's the end of it. The child has no interaction in the care either. the father provides for the child, the mother receives the money to take care of the child, it's done. The child doesn't say, I don't want anything from him, because that's not you're not the law. The law says fathers will take care of their children. Amen. That's the law. Now, if the father comes with a candy or with an iPad or something and say, come baby, this is for you, that's a different story. The child has the right to say, I don't want it. And still in that case, the mother must tell the child, if he comes to you with, or any human being comes to give you anything, tell him, give it to the mother. Give it to mommy. Give it and the problem is solved. Alright? What we shouldn't teach our children to do is to believe that you can have a problem with somebody but receive gifts from the person. If I don't like my father, then I don't want anything from my father. Bottom line. Because to raise a girl to say, I don't like you, but I can take from you, is culturing somebody that you only want her to be later on. Because that is exactly what prostitutes do. It's a monetary deal. Give me what I want. I don't have to like you. Just give me what I want. So cut that out. If ever it happens, never let it happen in a child's life. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to talk to you, because the child may remember what happened. Again, time. People grow up. And when people grow to a certain age, they are now bold enough and old enough to say, now, I ain't a baby anymore. You did this to me. And I want nothing to do with you. And your problem is solved. But again, you never remind a father to be a father. Especially if the court is involved. The first time one man goes by or 2 months go by and you go to the court and say he's failed, you see that out. And you won't need to remind after that. You see what I love about the US is, they take your driver's license from you. Which means you would not get a job on average. And you can't drive a car because you can't remember to pay your child support. Well, we can help you now because you can't remember to drive either. And you can't remember to work. Since you can't provide for the child, you don't need anything in life. And you see your fathers remember. I know men forget everything except child support in the US. They don't forget that one. Go ahead, brother.
Shalom, yes.
Shalom.
I just want to share some experience that really illustrates something like Brother Terrence's question and Apostle's response to them. I was married, got married in 2000, separated in 2008, divorced in 2010. While I was married, I had other women, had reasons in the home, was unhappy, went out and had other women, mainly just for sexual reasons. We got divorced. I'm the one who filed for the divorce. Went to court and fought for the children. I wanted to have full custody. However, we were granted joint custody. But even though we were granted joint custody, they were with me. They are with me most of the time. They live with me now. During the time between 2008, and 2010, or just right after that, there was a lot of friction. It wasn't easy. They would hear a lot of things, bad things, negative things about me. One time, Elton asked me, and he said, Dad, how was it, Mommy? I was talking about God and talking about church, and she's telling me so much about things about you. He was about, he didn't write commentaries the other day, or he had just written. And because of some of the friction that we were having then, at one time they rejected their own mother. And didn't want to go and see her, didn't want to go and spend time with her. And I constantly reminded them that it is your mother. Yes, adults do make mistakes, but she's still your mother. And you need to go. And when it was time for them to go to her, they went. But regardless of what they heard from her, they never brought that disrespect to me. Right? Which illustrates what you were saying. Right? After, in 2015, October, when I came up to do some insurance work here, and I came here, I was already divorced, but I wanted to do not only what was right, but what was scriptural. I wanted to be scripturally correct. So, of course, remember, I come with you. I made attempts, even though I was divorced already, I made attempts at reconciliation. I told the boys about this. And up to 2 Christmases ago, they asked me a question. They said, "Dad, why don't you get back together with Mom?" I said, "There are things that haven't changed and I'm not prepared to live with." And we had an experiment. And where she stared at us, because she said she didn't have a place to stay. And she asked to stay, and I said, "Yes, you can come." I asked Elton to give up his room. Right? And she stayed in the house. And for that brief moment, they were able to see the reasons why I was saying what I was saying, and I took the position that I took. And then they said that you are right, it is better not to get back together. So, exactly what you were saying, Apostle, it has been demonstrated in my life. It has been demonstrated. It's totally on point.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mommy. Perhaps we close the meeting.
Situation. After leaving home, and when I get the child has to be a teenager now, because I know the child, I'd like to ask Mr. Afternoon if he has spoken with his daughter about the situation. What caused him to leave?
Yes, Mom.
It is okay.
Oh, wow.
In that case, now that the situation seems to be deteriorating, I would like to suggest that you tell your daughter, because she's knowledgeable, set her down, talk to her directly. This is the situation. You've been observing, you've been seeing, hearing what is going on. These are now my plans for you, because that child's future is now in the balance. She wants to listen to her mother. She wants to listen to her father. The dominant factor, most times, mothers can influence the children. Now he has got now to use Yahweh's plan to let the child understand these are the principles of life, and be very frank when he's going to address the situation. Because I have spoken with that child. He has to tell her this is it straight up. He has to let her understand part of it, your mother doctrine and my doctrine is not coincide. Which way you've been exposed to both teachers. What do you think about the situation? Because if she has bent her mind that her mother's principle is right, wherever they are going, it's not good. He has now got to be the father and man in the house. You will follow me. We will follow Yeshua together. You are my daughter, and you're an adult as far as I'm concerned. Even though you're on our roof, you are an adult. Or a soon-to-be adult. What stand you take now will either hamper your future or destroy you and lay his facts out. That's all. If she chooses to stay with her mother, to follow her mother, so be it, because you already explained to her what are the consequences. Because every situation has a consequence.
Correct.
That's the stand he has to take. And be a man in his home. When you said this is what it will be, this is what it will be. No more compromise. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a wise woman speaking. All right? We have to be able to stand our ground as men and establish what is right for our children. The older they are, the easier it is to have certain conversation. Right? Yes. So we have Apostle Joshua, Apostle Lambert as well. We winding down. I see the serving us some good cake. That's good. I still have to be ready for tonight. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
So I don't know your name.
Terrence.
Yes, Brother Terrence.
Speak up, we have to hear you. The issues people, okay, this way. When you have the microphone, Facebook, they're not hearing you because it's coming from here to there.
Yes, Brother Terrence. I was divorced. I was separated from my husband for 10 years. Right? This is my daughter, his daughter. And as a mother, you shouldn't be saying negative. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to come back from what I observed. Because he would say things like, I'm not going to ever go back into that house or whatever. But I started looking at myself because I realized it's either I'm too ugly or something, so I'm not going to come back. But I accept the fact that he's not going to come back. But in the process, I would never say negative things about him to her. Yes, she may catch me crying unexpectedly because of whatever reason, but I would never say stuff to her about him because I know I can be, I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but planting some bad seed or something into her about him, right? Yahweh is so faithful that he sent him back to us after 10 years of separation. When he get back there was a chaos because she was like, he left me when I was 5, he wasn't there for me, and the crying starts, and when I think that, okay, we should be happy now, she started crying now when he come back. Because it's like, okay, I am there now wondering, should I send him away back? Because like I am like in a state of, what should I do? But we as mothers, yes, we may be hurting, but we need to let the children, don't talk down the fathers, even though they may be bad, some of them, but don't talk them down to the children because you are going to build a bad wall or whatever it is against the father from the children. And I talk to her. I say to her, because my husband, some of you men can be weak, I should say. I don't know if it's the right thing to say. Because you have too much pride, I think. I'm not sure. Because when my husband came back, you know what he said to me? He wanted to come back. From the time he leave, he thought he leave bad home. But when he gets out there, that is when he discover worse is out there and good is still home. But because of my pride, he said to me, it took me 10 years to realize that I should go back. Only thing it caused chaos because she was, I don't know if you remember, Apostle, I text you and asked you to just help me out because it was getting a bad whatever. Myself, I was like, I'm gonna give up, I'm gonna let him go because I think I did the wrong thing. So the children, if they're here, if any one of them are here, they need to stop listening to the mother. Because we mother can really get angry and talk bad things to the children to turn their minds away from them. And we need to stop doing it if that is what we are doing. Because I never did it to her. That is why after talking to her on my own, because I go to Yahweh, and she realized that this is not what she thinks. Because I myself was like very confused. So, and he's back. And he accepts Yahweh as his Lord and Savior. He even baptized in the name of Yeshua. So, you need to just thank Yahweh for whatever is happening to you. Probably he is putting you through for whatever reason. We don't know. But just let us thank you. You can thank him for whatever is happening for you because you don't know what is his plan.
Right, thank you so much. Let's come back to the head table. Let me go. Apostle Lambert, Apostle Joshua.
First of all, I believe that these women conferences, I believe that they are diabolical. Because that is a revolution not against man, but against Yahweh's principles. Empowering women to do what? And my father always used to say, he will not allow himself to be ruled over petticoat government, or allow a woman to rule him. This problem starts from somewhere, somehow. That's why when we are sleeping as leaders, the enemy will come and he will do what he has to do. Look at the strategies of the enemy. When I am not a racist, and I will never be one by Yahweh's help, but we look at the plan of the Europeans, it gets us fighting up to this day even in church. Nobody wants to, when they elevate themselves to come back among us to build, they are separated. And that was and is still the plan of the enemy, to come in and dismantle. We started with the women conferences. Women are educating themselves more and more. They are empowering themselves. More women graduating from colleges and universities than men.
Yeah.
And they are empowering themselves by the piece of paper that they have.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I can get down to it.
Yes.
With that in your mind, it's a recipe for a disaster. The man has no worth. When the man says no to his son, he goes to his mother, and the mother, without finding out from the husband, gave the son okay. So the father has no value. The breaking down of the family can very well begin with the mother. I'm not saying that men are saints of all saints. I was in a marriage for over 20 years. I'm still there because of my children. I took a lot of things because of my children. I spoke about it over and over. My children grow, and I know. I made a final decision, enough is enough. When a woman can educate herself and call a man stupid, and you're the last part of the intestine, that's how I feel. I call upon you women. Don't allow this to happen. And many of you have been influenced because of the office you work in. Because of the people you associate yourself with. You have to be a certain way.
Wow.
I know about a brother. Nice brother. But because his wife began to write books, and she joined with a certain crew, Cindy Trim, she was very disrespectful to her husband. And today they go on their separate ways. Woman, men, follow the principles of Yahweh, and everything is going to be all right. Some of you may have accepted you're wrong for the moment, and when things quiet down, you start again. Follow the principles of the kingdom, and everything is going to be all right. And look at the family, the generation. When you mess up one generation, it's not only that one generation, you messed up generations to come. Why the enemy, why Satan tried to stop the seed of the woman? Because he simply tried to stop you and I from knowing and following Yahweh's principles. I was willing to give up everything. I follow all the principles. I told my children what I'm going to do. My daughter said she didn't like it. But my son said, do what you have to do that. What my children, what it did to me, our daughter, my daughter, did to her husband. I was upstairs and I heard the talking and the voice raising. I never stepped down until I had to go down to do something, and use the bathroom. And my son-in-law and her mother was back and forth. And I walked and I went upstairs. Because you can start a generational cycle. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. And not disrupting Yahweh's principle that He has set down for us. We need to work. We need to work. We need to work, saints. We need to work. We need to work. That's why I'm determined not to present unto you or the body of Yeshua what I want or feel that they should know. I present what He wants you to know. Delivering a package is delivering a package. It will all begin. And marriages will all come to an end when there is no compromise. Sometimes you see yourself, the marriage came to an end 20 years after, but it wasn't 20 years. That was just a manifestation of the destruction of the family. Sometimes it began in just the first 3 years. It is simply because a man may not want to do what he's supposed to do as a man. Or a woman don't want to do what she's supposed to do or follow the principles of the A.R.M. He said, I leave among you a plumb line. I will no more pass by you. We have to bring ourselves in line with the principles of the kingdom. I didn't have to go my way. say this to you women. Still water run deep. But Yahweh give me grace. And I keep quiet. Still water run deep. I said to Apostle once, because evil was in my mind. There's a good thing I did. After that, no more. Sometimes you don't know what you're playing with. There are a lot of things that are going on in families. Husbands are molesting stepdaughters, and they're moving to the boys now. From the time that happened, it must be exposed, or else he or she will continue the act of the enemy. If a man raises an hand upon you, one time he's going to do it again. Put a stop to it. Men, I encourage you, don't lift your hand upon a woman when you have to lie down near her. Don't close your eyes. As I told many wives, a good woman always get a good frying pan just by her bedside. The old days frying pan. You must know to swing good. Is to send a message. Is to send a message. Sometimes the balance will go on. It has to be stable up. Do not accept a man putting his hand upon you. Let me go back to this. Because the man is a breadwinner, you can't report the molestation that is going on. No, you're not dealing with a man, you're dealing with an enemy that must be exposed. Exposed that he may come to himself. Yahweh's discipline or his judgment, his corrective measures. We are living in the last days. The signs are everywhere. Man with man is to dismantle the family structure. Woman with woman is to dismantle the family structure. Woman empowerment is to destroy the family structure. Deception, deception, deception. It's all about deception. Deception.
Thank you so much, Apostle. And I think the Shaul would have written and said that he's writing to them in tears. This is what the body of Messiah for real experiences. We read them go into caves and come back acting as if we have never suffered what we've suffered. We can't play games, and that's why I praise Yahweh for being obedient. When he told me, deal with this. Months ago I was with Brother Terrence. One said, this is John. And I told him, I said, Chubby, Yahweh has brought to my attention something that will make many men in the church upset, possibly. But I'm not afraid to deal with it. I said one word, he took me to the scripture and said, read this. Wives, be subjected to your husband. And then he said, they're saying Yeshua, they're saying Yahweh, but they reject my instruction concerning your husband. Because of this. Confirming it, he said, because they've been empowered by women in the church to think that the more spiritual you are, the less submissive you should be. Since he doesn't shout like you, he doesn't roll on the floor like you, he doesn't talk in tongues like you, he doesn't hold his back like you, he is not qualified for submission. And When Yahweh brought this to me, he said, until you see it stop, don't stop addressing it. Don't give it a chance to breathe among the saints. Heaven never gives you the ability to disobey divine principles. If Yahweh tells you to submit to your husband, he's given you everything in your power to do it. It's not hard. Because he said his instructions are not heavy. No, culture is heavy. That friend who is so spiritual that can't respect her husband is heavy. There's nothing more beautiful than a submissive woman. I have never been attracted to women who are loud in their attitude. Because I don't like man. And I can't date another man. So when you grow nuts and you want to be man, you can't be. Yes, Sister Jeff. One second. Y'all, we can't stay here till 6 o'clock. We gotta go.
I had 2 points, but our brother there, Apostle Lambert, he would have said, made mention of the first one. That is, of us women being educated, and because of our education, we don't think we can submit to a man. Yes. And because we are earning the big figures, he can't tell us that our skirts shouldn't be that short, and our breasts should not be exposed. Because I buy him a clothes because I make him a money. Right. You ain't minding me. All right, so my next thing is, my father walked out and left my mother with us. We were just teenagers. I think my youngest brother, he was about 6 or 7 years old when my father walked out on us. And there were days when my mother, she would rant, she would do this, she would do that, because he was the person who brought in the money. But he didn't, like I told you before, counseling and all of that, he wouldn't sit us down, he was just there. He was just the man in the house who brought the money. My mother did the brunt of the work. So when he left, it was really hard. And so there were days when my mother would vent, shortcomings, we couldn't get this, we couldn't, because Daddy had walked out on us. And I was even sharing this with some sisters yesterday, that when I wrote CXC, it was $250. My father said, I'll give it to you later, but my friend, who her father had it, she said, I'll pay for you whenever you get the money, you'll give it to me. So she did pay my CXC fees. And there are days, like recently my mother said to me, you don't blame your father. You could have gone through teachers training college. You could have finished UG. I said, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And with all that she would have said, we never one day disrespected him. We never showed him disrespect. He moved away from us. We grew up without him. Whenever he could, he would leave a few dollars. My mother even summons him to mind the last 2 children. And when my brother turned 18, he called to remind us that Dudley will soon be 18, so I ain't got to pay child support anymore. Wow. So we laughed, because after a while he became a joke. So we laughed. Now, when my sister got married, Diane, when she got married, he said for him to come to the wedding, he has to get a special invitation. So my mother said, we're not printing any one of those. So he never showed up at the wedding. But on her first wedding anniversary, he brought a gift. My sister accepted it. We accept him back. And, he never asked us to forgive him. He never said sorry. But it's our father. And I love my father. We love our father. And my sister, she now has a bigger house. One day the rain came, flooded the bottom floor, and he drove all the way from Fort Wellington to sleep overnight and help my sister mop up. So he tries to make up now, but then, I would say to myself, I said, whatever is done, it's already past and gone. And I am so grateful that I am spared and saved for such a time as this, where I can meet men like you. Amen. I can meet men like you. And Apostle, I have a few years on you, but I am going to say to you that I am going to call you that,
because I received counseling from you. I'm going to call Apostle Lambert, I'm going to call you Dad. Apostle Joshua, I am going to call you Dad. Apostle Thomas, I am going to call you Dad. And even your father, Apostle Bishop, I am going to call him Dad. And if you are seeing me, or you see me erring in any way, even if you have to, well, I wear wigs, so if you drop me by your wig, I must look back to see you drop my wig. Alright? So, drag me. You see me in error? No, brother, I'm serious. You see me in error? Drag me. No, you drag me. I must look around because this one I got on is expensive. I wonder who got my wig. So, correct me anytime, any place, any hour. You see me in error? Correct me. Because my father, my biological father, he was just there. He was just there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Women, right at the back, women generally they're made to have leadership. A woman is never wired to rule. It is not her nature to rule. She can never be a father. She always needs one. And that is where we come in. That's where men come in. Alright? Yes, brother.
A very good day to each and every one. Really and truly, I had some experience just like the gentleman that asked the question in front. But what about if you just have a powerful voice and you know you're strong in the Lord? Because I was strong in the Lord, I was a lay preacher, I did some theology under Mr. Visnant, God rest his dead. And you're not working. So you can't even raise your voice, even though you're cooking and washing and doing everything for a wife. You're divorced. And then the wife going to a church where she carried you, and that apostle or self-proclaimed prophetess is directing her. Yes. What you need to do. She left you. Then you have to spend 5 weeks in jail. And then when you come out, you can't even go back to that home. What's it? Now, I had other children, and I recognized women seems to have a very much a large association. They don't have to have education. Because one didn't perform in school, but she gets 2 children. She got put out from Chumley Hill. She's back at her mother in Kansas City, and I go in there, get over here, and all this kind of nonsense. And even his son was supposed to be writing combinations yesterday, day before yesterday, and yesterday. You can't come here. Why? And I have been supported Belgium with that family because she has 3 children, 3 children. One day pulling him out, pulling up one of the boys up who have not coming to say hello to me. I am not Anthony, you know. I'm a Kotavan. And he would beat me. I said, boy, like he got big too quick. The problem is in society, ignorance is reigning supreme. People are not trying to take what is good. You know what? Even the mother come outside and say, I talked to you already about that, but I'm not coming to you. You gotta talk back again. I could go and take any other man. And you could gossip with your God and everything. I said, you ought to be careful of everything you say. Because they are going to come back upon you.
Well, that just highlights, and in fairness to all the situations, because the other party isn't here, I can only speak for what I hear. But there is certainly a crisis in society, but for me, I'm here with the church. And you were able, by Yahweh's grace, to hear some of the, and that's why I love openness, some of the issues that we face that are very, very hard to deal with, if we are not graced to deal with it. That's why we have to have confidence in Yahweh's ability to be our Father. That's the first thing. Secondly, we have to have confidence in the fact that He's given to us fathers in the faith to lead us. If you can't trust that, you'll always have issues to deal with the Father. Before Sister Davidson speaks, Yahweh in some cases, I remember one time He made it very clear to me. Then He began to tell me, okay, I'm a father to certain people. He said, you know what? I have preserved her life by removing the biological father.
because his principles would have killed her in life. Some of you would be no good with a father who told you yes. So Yahweh in his wisdom removed the yes and let you cry for years so you could reach no to help you grow as a woman. Heaven is too wise to make a mistake where you're concerned. His principles are too deliberate for us to miss our path to righteousness because we on it already. That's why I don't go about blaming men and blaming women. I speak to the issue as Yahweh tells me to speak to it. Because all of it is working together for God. Where's the side?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you publicly, Dad. Like most women, I wasn't raised with a father figure. And it can be very, very damaging long term. But most of what I'm learning now is what I should have learned then. And I still praise Yahweh because it's not late. And I want to thank you because what I know now to look for and expect from a man is what I would have learned when you guys got here. I want to say thank you because I remember, if nothing else I remember about my wedding day, I remember you clearly said to me, this man is not me. And I always remember that because I don't consider my husband saved. But whenever he acts sometimes, contrary, I try to remember, this is not that. And he's not in the kingdom, so I have to deal with him. I can't deal with him or expect this type of behavior from him. You cannot expect godly behavior from an ungodly person. That's point down. As it relates to this whole submission thing, it's something that really touches me because a lot of women, within the first 2 minutes of a conversation with them, married women I'm talking about, you can tell whether they submit or not, or if they have the mentality. Let me know, it takes more grace to submit. Because you actually know what you can do and are capable of, but you're willing to lay it down to allow someone to lead you. When I was a little girl, I heard how my mom used to speak about my dad. He was never wrong. And I vowed to myself that I would never, ever, ever let my children hear, even if the man is bad, what I'm thinking about him. And it's something I don't practice. A lot of women do it, and we should stop doing it because it is damaging to the children. So I just wanted to say thanks, Dad. You mean so much to me, more than you know. And like the sister said about pulling her weave off, well, you already know. I'm going to take it even if I have to take my correction and sit and cry and then get up and go again. That's the way it's going to go. But for me, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just come close because I don't want to shout to Facebook in here. Let me just start with what Apostle just said concerning Yahweh taking your father out of the picture. Because I asked him myself years ago, I cried while I was asking him, why is it that I don't have a father, a biological father, like every other girl that I know? And immediately, because every time I ask him something, for me, he always answers immediately. I don't even have to turn my back. He said, you won't be the person who I want you to be. Right away, well, I grew up in church, so hearing Yahweh, that's it. I stopped crying and went along my business. But the thing is, as Pastor Lambert was reiterating about women and these movements, the world is pouncing on the fact that a lot of women are abused at an early age. I'm one. I can testify to that. I was sexually abused, emotionally and physically, by more than one man, right? And in my childhood, as small as 5. So, yet, Sister Sanash there is talking, Sandra is talking about being graced. As I grew in church, by the way, I always thought that everything that's going on in the church, something is wrong. That's why I'm here in Yahweh. Bless the Lord. There's something always wrong. I just see something wrong. But as I grew there, I always look up to men. As even yesterday, I was looking at today's session on Facebook, and I saw the group of men up there. And I was like to myself in my kitchen, I was like, wow, I admire this. I love this. And at least one of the men who I grew up seeing, Brother London, Elder London, Calvary Temple, something was just mesmerizing about this man. He's just there. He is not everywhere. He's just there with a guitar and just cool and everything. And he was always somebody to look up to. Right? And coming to Come As You Are, have Apostle Thomas, who's always there. Get you skin in your teeth. Let you know that he's there for you too. And now meeting the rest of the team, and also knowing you, Apostle. And I believe that indeed grace is, we don't even understand what is grace sometimes. Because been through so much with men, I can't get vexed with men or talk down at men. And growing up, I always said, you know, I want to be married, you know, you get all these things as a young lady that you're going to be submissive to your husband, you're going to love your husband and everything. But I tell you, that's one thing saying it, but when you get in, it's a different thing. Because the first year, I just start getting crazy and shouting and, you know, but it wasn't, Yahweh is so faithful because I embraced with it, because I didn't have to go through a 10-step, a 5-step, you know, it's just one thing, submit. And even as my husband is away, you know, we would talk, and then sometimes, you know, as you said, you feel it coming on. You're like, okay, Alicia. Okay, yes, that's all right. Good, go along. So it is not a 10-step or 5-step process. It's just one thing, submit. But we have to be sharp and we have to look out as women, because the world is really pouncing on our weakness, and the world knows what's happening. Because almost a lot of homes that I would have passed through and I would have seen, there's something where you would have heard this young lady has been abused, that young lady has been abused. And somehow, I don't know, even if I go into the house, I can kind of sense something is wrong. Some woman has been abused here, and it's because, I guess it's because I've been through that also. So I bless Yahweh for all these men and all the men in the house today.
Thank you so much.
Wow, my mind is blown away. Hearing my sister, listening to my sister, Sister Alisa. Sister Alisa, you have go through all this, because I don't know if you started it now, but down the road you will have to counsel a lot of women who have been abused by men, because you have a spirit on you that Yahweh has given you the ability, because of what you have faced and what the goodness of you, and you have not been hurt to the extreme like other women, and you have understand, and despite what you have gone through, you still have respect for men. And because you still have the respect for men, Yahweh gonna use you to help other women who are coming along the way, so that they can become or operate like you. All right.
Yes.
I'm not, there's plenty things, but I would say two things, two simple things and finish. One, women, if you working more money than your husband, remember one thing. Money should not come between you and your husband relationship. If you earn more money more than him, or he is laid off on his job and you earn a big money, or you have a higher degree of what is it, or you have a business and he's just working and earning money, the money that comes in is for the betterment of the family. And that does not give you the right to tap down on him or speak on him because you earn more money. Your position is to submit. Another thing to the women here is that despite how your husband bad, don't teach the children to disrespect him. You do that, if you do that, the children in turn will disrespect you. I have seen that all over my life, growing up as a child. And down the road you don't know. None of us know if Yahweh gonna call the man. None of us know if the man and you gonna make up back. And you sow discord among the child about the father, and when the child find out, how the child gonna begin to trust you. So, despite how the man bad, you drink, he got plenty woman, yes, you will not console and agree with it, but do not allow the children to disrespect him. They must respect him at all times. Thank you.
We have one coming because it's very, yes ma'am, it's 1:15. You're doing well today. I don't like church this much.
Yes, Apostle.
Here. Yeah.
I pray, see my story.
Yes.
Because I know it's getting late. I was married for 15 years, and after 15 years, my husband got very funny. He started to behave in a way, one time he's sick, another time I was a nurse. And started to behave funny. I took him to the doctor. He got medical treatment. They said it was a nervous breakdown he had. Then after that, I still see a lot of funny manifestations. And I started to take him to deliverance service. I took him to all those deliverance services you can think about in Georgetown. And still the same thing. The last place I took him, the pastor said, sis, like he used to, apparently he used to move in this word of knowledge. As soon as I went to that deliverance service, this pastor told me all my story and I never saw him before. And he said, sis, you're going through like a Job situation. And you have now, in order for you to live and keep a balanced head to look at your 6 children, the Lord has to do something in your situation. He said, go into fasting, at least for 3 to 4 days, and give this man over to the Lord. And I did that. I took some time off from work, and I started to do that. On the 3rd day, I got a word audibly in my bedroom. The Egyptians you saw, you shall see them no more. 3 times, Exodus 14. Well, I got real fearful, and I took that day off, and I went to the same pastor who told me that. He said, sis, the Lord has answered. That time I didn't know Yahweh. He said, the Lord has answered your prayer. And it's from that day to now, since 1989, I have not seen my husband. But when I came to core ministry, and I met Apostle, I asked Apostle to come to my workplace. And I told Apostle the whole story, thinking that Apostle would say something else. And Apostle said, sis, I have nothing to say, the Lord has spoken. But I can say, since you walked out, I had no desire to marry again, because I never ever wanted to put my children through a stepfather trauma. I went back home, submitted to my dad, My children grew up under my father's roof, and until they were educated, and then two of them started to give me problems. And with Yahweh's help and His mercy, they were both joined the A.R.M Youth Commission, and they became missionaries, and then afterwards they got married. So I have a lot to thank Yahweh for, and I'm saying thank you, Yahweh. Thank you for this ministry. Thank you for all the apostles. I'm submissive to them, and I'm still learning. As the apostle said last night, we have not reached the other side of it, and we are on a journey.
Thank you so much, Mom. I appreciate you highly. I am grateful. I love you saying so much. Yeah. Yes, really.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm divorced from my husband. I have 2 children. My children live with father, but they have...
Can you speak up first, please? I know you have a soft voice, but just project a little more for me to the microphone so we can hear you clearly on the extreme.
Okay.
That's better.
Yes, I'm divorced, okay? I have 2 children. And my children live with father. But we all have a very good relationship. My ex-husband, we are very good friends. And I always tell my children to always respect their father. I never talk the father to them, all right? And they love him dearly, right? And give him that respect. I always tell them, like, if any time you have to disrespect your father, you have to deal with me, because I'm not going to tolerate it. All right? So.
That's very good. And before, Sister Roxana was there for quite a while. Come forward. I know we do this maybe once a year or twice a year, so I understand what we're going through today. All right? Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. I am mostly the disciplinary in the home of my family and 2 children. My husband always allowed me to give the children discipline in any way possible. He said, Roxanne, you deal with it. You deal with it. So most of my life I've been dealing with the stuff, whether he's here or not here. I'm always dealing with the situation. So for me, the submission, it's hard. I will get it for 3 weeks. I will get it for a month. And then eventually, I begin to slip up. Because he always allowed me to do all the discipline to the children. I don't want you to say this, that, school. But here and lately, the younger boy, he's really giving me a hard time. And when I complain to him, simple stuff, Adrian, when anybody come to the home or they call, if your father's not there, let them speak with your mother. Yesterday someone was there, and I told the guy that my husband is not so good, I have to come back in the afternoon. When Adrian came, the guy explained to him, he came to see his father. I came outside and I let him know that I spoke with him, and I said, your father's not there. When he comes in the evening, he can return and speak with him yourself. Adrian said, Mommy, where's the phone? Let me, I need to call my father now. I refused to give him the phone, so what he did, he crossed the road to the shop and asked the girl to borrow her phone. He called the father and he explained that somebody was there and wanted to speak with you. I told him that his father come and go to complain, and action will be taken against him. To my surprise again, but I told the father. He said I'm going to talk with him, so by the time he called him to speak with him, I grabbed the plastic wrap. Because while he's talking, I wanted to get the lashes. So he said, don't hit me. But I just came from the service last night and hearing about discipline and don't hit. So, oh my, I just had a reverse when we just came from the service. You can't do anything about the matter. But he just calmly spoke to him about this for several times. This one thing has been occurring, and I don't believe enough discipline is being taken for this particular child. When, I believe more harsh punishment should be given. And I told him, even this child, with his action, is disrespectful to him because he would allow him to take the car at some time in the community, but one time when he got to 7:30, I said the child already know that you would do nothing about the matter, because if he knew that harsh discipline was going to be placed upon him, he would say, you know what, my father might do something real bad and he get back to me. But he didn't do anything. All he did was smile with him and said, you know what, you need your package. So for me, when I see, like in those cases, proper discipline not taking over the child, especially a teenager or boy, it causes me sometimes, I'm being honest, but I'm thanking Yahweh for the grace to pull through. It moves me. And that's how sometimes it comes to not to, you know, give that perspective.
Okay, but hearing you, it's still, and I always say this, maybe you haven't heard me say it, but I'll say it again to the congregation in general. There's never a justified reason to disrespect or not submit to us. You can't find a reason to say, because of this, I am doing this. It is never justifiable. It is the father's role to raise his child. The harsh reality is this, and I'll just say it as Yahweh gives me grace to tell you all, as I tell you the truth straight up. Any child who grows up without a father's instruction, and the child is turning towards doing what is wrong, is a perfect candidate for death or imprisonment.
So true. Yes. True.
Yahweh's law doesn't suit our feelings.
True.
It suits his nature.
True.
A child left to himself will bring his mother to shame. And his family will come to ruin. My principle is basic, and those who follow me in line will know I counsel some of you in the same manner. Any child, because that's how I run my house, if you can't obey what I say, you can't be fed by me.
True.
Now some of you are so nice and you love children more than Yahweh himself. So you could turn from Yahweh's principle and just do what you want. In Deuteronomy, Moshe said to the people of Israel, if you have a son who does not listen to you or his mother, take him to the elders of the city. Tell them my boy doesn't listen. What's the next step? Let them stone him to death. With stones. Not with plastic bottle. So that it will not be in Israel. You know why? One rebel who's covered and cloaked by a mother will destroy a whole neighborhood. So I prefer to be the bad Yahweh man and tell these here, if you can't follow my rules, out of my house. But she might take man, I don't care. She'll take my food in my house and take my peace of mind, and I can't talk to you. Well, I told them, my children when they were younger, I would rather beat you into heaven than hug you into hell. I beat God into you. If it can't fit with talk, it can fit with no. Because at the end of the day, it must not be said that you are in my house, and because I love you so much, I couldn't deal with you as a father. This gentle, handsome man over here in the blue shirt told me one day, I will never sell my house or mortgage my house to pay a lawyer for you, because I was going down a path that wasn't too nice. And I knew that he would always get me. If I get in trouble, my father is a manager in a major company. You can't touch me. I used to tell police officers, you know who my father is? You want to take my bicycle? I call my daddy. Next thing I said, you know who my neighbor is? The commander of the station. Give me my bicycle. You want the bicycle? No problem. I got where daddy passed on the road, they had me on arrest. I ran out from arrest. I was too young to know about arrest. I said, Daddy, they got my bicycle in here. I got my bicycle back not because of him, because he told me the bicycle is not yours. You took your friend's bike and rode it without light. And I'm not buying one back either. So you tell your friend why you can't get his bike back. But the commander knew me, the commander fixed things for me to get a bike back. But then Daddy said to me, I will not sell my house. I will not mortgage my property to pay a lawyer if you break the law. You will go to jail. And the next thing he said is, I'm not coming to the court to hear what the judge tell you either. But some of y'all love people more than Yahweh can.
True, true.
My house will be built on principles.
True.
You don't like them, come out.
Of course.
My father told me one day, you living under my roof. If you don't agree with what I say, don't live under the roof then. We ain't got no problem. My house make things so complicated. But you don't come on here telling me what you will do, what you will not do. Or showing me that you did opposite to what I say, but you can still come and rest in bed and sleep at night. It's not happening. See how quiet he is?
Two man don't live under one roof.
No, boy. And I knew he was serious. Because he's so calm. Quiet. But I knew when he said it, he meant every word. No child in your house sets the rules.
No, never.
And I'm talking to men. If you are a man in here, and you have a son who sets the rules at 14, you will not talk to him at 18.
Okay.
Never. You're going on the road. Out. But I have nowhere to sleep. I got plenty of places for you to sleep. The bush, the bridge, the hill, the station, and all if you want. See somebody fall in the lock up. You get free sleeping camp. But you're not living in my house. Do I love them? Chicana, do I love you? Do you think I love you? Mary, you think I love you? Thank you very much. But you don't do foolishness in my house and eat my food for free. You're crazy one. Yes. Victor, let's do it.
This conference means the world to me.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word, but it means it's a big deal because I'm now learning the principle of submission.
Amen.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't that person to submit. I used to give my husband a hard time.
God is faithful. If only one.
I grew up without a father, and I never knew what he was doing to my mom. So what I did is start hating her, not understanding what he was doing to her. And when I finally get in contact with him, he told me all manner of things about her. And I grew up hating her. And it have other wicked family members that will add in to it. And I never could understand what she was going through, but I was angry at her for leaving him. But I didn't know that he used to beat her. So, but my mom, to tell you the truth, she never left my side. She never. And I blame her for years for not allowing me, in my foolish mind, to have a father around. So I developed that hatred and I would spill it out to her. And since what I did now, after I lost that relationship with my mom, I started to go to other people in the fellowship to look for love because I already damaged the one for my mother. And I'm looking for a mother's love and a father's love. So what they did now is add more to my pain by taking advantage. I was under an apostle that used to have me wash her underwear. She used to urinate on it and have me to wash it for her. She used to have me live in my house to go and clean her house. And all of these here, because it's just the other day my husband and I finally sit and we talk, and I didn't know that this was the hurt that he was going through. And he was telling me that he felt so lonely all of these years, because the truth of the matter is that when he comes home and gone, every time he comes home, I put on my clothes and I gone because she's requesting me. And even when my mother called me and said, "You're still with your family now? You're always on the road." She was the last voice I really wanted to hear. But I never say anything to her. I had hours of conversation with my father, and it was a bunch of, it brainwashed me. The hating her personally. So everything what she do, I see as wrong. You know? And this conference Well, first when Dad started to talk about submission, that was it. I couldn't even type an amen. I was busy tearing up in front of the screen. I was crying. I couldn't even say a lie. And now you guys are here. It's like the best years of my life. And it's been 3 years. And I've never encountered this kind. And I'm telling you, I've been around this church, folks, for years, for decades, and all you feel is hate, and you know the lies, and you know the deceit and the manipulation, you know it. They train you to be like this, and they train you to be women who would disregard their husband because they're telling you that you have this special gift and he doesn't, and you should be above him and he's beneath. And this is the kind of principle these people teach you in the name of A.R.M. But I thank Yahweh for this conference. And I thank Yahweh that they have men that will stand for truth. Teach people like me how to submit. And I have been courting my husband for so long. For so long I've been hurting him. And I didn't even know because I was carried away by what I thought was right. And Yahweh told me, he told me, and I thought, and I told him, he told me to stop doing that. And I'm here. And with all my heart, I'm going to submit to him.
Bless you.
I done everything. And I thank Yahweh for you guys. Because I will call Apostle Nigel that. He doesn't know why I call him that. Because I see him as my father figure. I even see Apostle Thomas as my father figure. The one that was never there. And sometimes when I see you guys, it suits me because you never stray me wrong, not once. Even when it hurts, let me tell you, it does hurt when you be disciplined. You might know how you discipline me. You discipline me through the word of Yahweh. Amen. Through his spirit. Sometimes when I'm wrong, you pops up in my dream and tell me that I'm wrong. And I'm thankful to Yahweh for that.
Bless you.
Because I need someone to tell me where I'm going wrong. And I never had that in my life. But I always wanted that. It's strange. I never had it, but I always wanted it. And this man has been showing me the kind of love that I never even thought exists, but I couldn't even accept until you started to preach it. And I thank Yahweh and I'm submitting.
Thank you so much. Brother Joshua, then we go. Thank you so much. And Brother Joshua will be on the side. And then Bishop and others will give their remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It was mentioned that women now are qualifying themselves more than men. So the situation is that women are earning more than men. Yes, it's disrespectful for a woman to go ahead and disrespect the man, or it's wrong for the woman to disrespect the man, though in the case that she's earning more than the man or than a man. The thing is, what are we men doing? What are we doing really? Because if the women are qualifying themselves more than us, therefore we are not doing what we're supposed to do. If we're to teach them, we are not educating ourselves to teach them. Because if they recognize that we are stupid, which some of us are, that is a fact. I was one of those persons. Bless Yahweh pulled me out of that. Therefore, I think that, bless God for you guys, more of this should happen. Because we, as young men, old men, all men, need to understand what is our position and put ourselves in a place where we must do something about it. It is not there for fun, but we have to.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Joshua. And let me, as
not a caveat or just a side warning or note to you. Back in the day with Abraham and Sarai, who respected him and called him Lord, there was no education for them in terms of formal. There was no certification. What my focus is not on telling you to go to school if you're not capable of doing it, because everybody's not inclined to do that. It's on teaching you the principles that if you are married to a person as a woman, you have the right to submit to him regardless of his qualification. Because I've seen wisdom in men who have no university qualifications. And I've seen great folly in men who have too many. It's one word, potential. If I see a young man who's capable of going down the path of studying physics and becoming a nuclear scientist, I'm supposed to drive him down that path at all costs, because that's what he's good at doing. If I see another able to build a house with class, perfection, without going to university, I must drive him to do that. Because if ever I try to cross the lines with the two, I will destroy both. The woman who marries the one who can build a house or wash a car must respect him as much as the one who married a physicist. Because it's not their education that you respect. It is the person and their status as a husband. Society is teaching our daughters to regard qualifications and not quality of a person. We must honor who people are more than what they study. That is my job. And that's a warning or a note, a point of note to all of you. If you can't do it, don't do it. Everybody wouldn't go to university again or to the University of Notre Dame or wherever it is. But everybody could be decent if they can learn. Amen? Papi had something to say a while ago. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice morning. Brothers and sisters, my story is a terrible story. I asked them to 6 years. I seek a long time to find justice. But I find justice now unto my brother Aklenpa, Mr. Joshua. And now I find it more now. And I think no one in this world can stop me now. Because I find the true God and the true deliverer. Amen. I find everything when we want to find right here. Amen. Imagine we left for 43 years, me and my wife left. He want me now. And they got in the whole world, if I start, I can't find a woman good like that. And this whole life I start again, I can't find a woman bad like that. So just imagine, whatever I tell you. I kept my wife in the old mamu on top of my own bed, and now she want me back? Are you giving justice? One week was there. What are you? I try and I try. And I believe in Jesus, right? At that time, then I left Jesus. I go to a Hindu church. I believe in lot of things in Hindu. And I still live until now. One time, me tell me pardon me one back my wife. If I tell her something, this is experience for me. It can go to you. When the person said, true love never dies, die. This is it. Love is death, life is forever. Everything in this world is God one. Now, this woman get me so bad. I try me, see it. You go to a man, one Hindu man, open book. He said you were living 60 years ago, get me less 76 years ago. So you see how the people select money out of people, anything you don't eat, they put their money in. They don't put money, so he said, this is tired over that. Now, what is happening now? She wants me back. Well, no, we find it so home, he can take you back. If the father's again, the people laughing, he said, keep me like somebody take you back. What will happen? Devil? Devil is devil. But this man devil, this, you can't call on you. If me see she walk and they told her count and they walk on me, the boss of like a honestly. As long as people feel it, you're going to lock me up. The doctor, I don't want to pay some. Imagine that. No. She wants in this year. What she do now, she poison people. You cannot mean poison, not poison for jail. They hate me then. You turn out then, hear me son of planting rice. It's right now, me get land from water set to back down. Me left on my walk out. House, tractor, tapir, minibus, everything up to date me give them. But sister, brother, one thing I make a really mistake. I was supported by the movie people. You see, smart things as good, but sometimes you don't know what's happening. The big son is calling my. So when I go there now, he take on, they live number 19 Warren. She take 18 man, you look down and come back 19. She want her breakfast, the legs like I open. Now, they plant this rice, I'll be like that. When we sell this land, the man from the pension man get. So he sold the land and tell his small son, say, you know what happened? You'll give so much money. That day we go, the son, he come, he said, son, they want to go and tell you something. They tell him, he said, but what do you want to tell you? She said, you go there now, you put money in it. And I said, look, we can't let that, and we have a size party. He said, tell your big brother. When they go and the big brother's calling, my. They will laugh and stop this one. Yeah, because he care about a crapper. Like a crapper started this morning, so I'm going, who name you put a heady by? Put on my name. I can't go on mine. They walk out the down. He step up on the road, he step on the one back. So you want that, you want that long and back again? And you will not talk. He said, but that is something, he put everything in him. He said, well, he's calm. He said, mad. He put on my name. But brother, I have faith. Many times I'm going to tell you something I like. I take this rope and jump on the rope. I'm going to listen to jump on there. You have to pardon, Mr. Pardon, become after to one back my wife. Then you see me wife maybe the first half, 6 months. Something for me, man, he said, well, ram your wife, no. They want you back. The man said, no, but you catch me the old man, won't tap me own bed. You want change water. Pick up my cutlass and find and separate the street from the side. They said, when we going to make it too soft. They said, by today, something got to happen. I kidnap kill you. But I tell you the faith at that time they had in Jesus and the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. He said, Lord Krishna is God, one said Jesus is God. So me still believing it to me, say, well, hey, me put me just egg in 2 baskets. One boss of one day, and just 2, I can understand where you're going. I need to get the faith and the whole land. Nobody's commando. I don't ever tell you something what is commando. I never in this world. They try and not survive. No mistake. They go to Christian church. Then the man where they come Andy church. It's a popular church. And he said, I'm praying about the question I should go with Jesus. I go with him. Well, Japan, the pastor, there, Mr. Joshua, the pastor. You go, hey, pastor man, by the way, because this one, go hear what he wants to. You go in church now, you start to hear about this Ashua and all of this thing and so I start to walk from them. Me start to see me way. Me go back, me plant rice again. My son said, Daddy, me saw you want, he said, you want to go to America. 2 pastors book down for the 2 sons and she was gone. Now when the rent of the court me in charge, the court, the phone about me said, I court now, he said, okay, at the court. When me carry 7 truckloads, I passed 85 acres. The plus 7 truckloads became left the whole land. When the first second master returned, he said, check out one time. When he checked, said, so much $1 and something million, because $100 and something million. $1.5 million. So we started paying from him, he said that advance. When the man arrived, he said, but hey, the man, look, what happened there? The wife told me, said, my wife will come. He said, the policeman now. He said, oh, I'm going to do it. He come, he said, Pastor, yesterday, the police. Look, the man is there. He asked him, what happened? He said, the man was sent check. He said, oh, capital the check. We do plan the place up, and I said, no way. They call me what me done $2,000 from home care, the man and him went to play. Now he come back. He teach his children them. But he make sure everybody was me show local sister that we show the place and they live a house. There was them 1, 2 soul, 1 about their land from them cast up in millions of dollars. Me desire, me 7 me draw this money, whatever we land in Salam. Me no want money, you say money. I want to get the food and get the clothes and the work and my senior, and I'm gone on the God side now. So me don't think about money, brother. All the ladies talk and they see when you that 2 bosses they ask the question, me brother. This is the question they ask. He said the 2 bosses, Pastor, get them? He said, no, they're higher boss. He said, look, I want to talk to the brother. What is his name now?
Nigel.
Pastor Nigel. He said this now. So look, I want to do something and I know, no one knows what is a help or whatever, but if he help, he help. I want to do a donation show. 3 places. And make money to buy a bus. The name goes to never die.
Wow.
Buy a donation. Ask them, let me tell them. I tell the man to, what is around here? He said he don't pass up to the church. March. Well, we don't know this one, we talk about donation. Maybe this one, that's another one too. So the fellow said, I want to do some donation. I know how to make this money. And we got to buy the own bus. Because Yahweh is the one who gives me the courage and I know what to do.
Yes, thank you so much.
And it can be done.
Yes, it can be done.
2 in Bobby, 1 Mackenzie, and 1 in Operation over the
Yes, you thank you very much.
But I want to ask this one thing. What must I do? I went to consult the Pastor A.R.M.
Yes.
Must I take back that woman?
Papi.
Hear this one, right? Don't give us me back. I told you Chelsea when the dragon passed, Superman had to walk.
Papi, listen. We praise you how you feel good. All right, saints, just before we leave, just before we go.
Just before we go, bless y'all. All right. Let's hear from Bishop. And because he is an elder in the faith, and what we've dealt with today would have been, and that's what God we could laugh at the end, because we had a lot of pain in between. We've been through all the emotions we could think about this afternoon. Amen? But it's all for our better. So let's hear from Elder, and then we're going to leave. Of course, we meet this evening about 6:30. So this is the last night, as they say, and I will be missing y'all for sure. Go ahead, Elder.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just try to make it extremely brief. But I don't know how many of you know that Core Ministries International is founded on 3 principles: finance, family, and leadership. And it is by no coincidence that for the past almost 2 years, there has been heavy emphasis on family. All I've been hearing about is family. And within the last few months, I have seen stark manifestation of family dysfunction in New Jersey and now in Canada. And I know that Yahweh does nothing by accident. He knows the end from the beginning. And I should just like to, having heard all the things that I've heard, to encourage you. Because if you are assured that you were chosen from before the foundation of the earth, if you are assured that many will be the afflictions of the righteous, but that he will see you through them all, if you are assured that, as he says in his word, that nothing will afflict you beyond that which you can endure, if you are assured that your every step is ordered by him, if you are assured that you are more than a conqueror, if you are assured that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, if you are assured that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, then I would encourage you not to be overwhelmed by anything at all that is going on in your life. All you need to do is to stand firmly on the principles of Yahweh's promises. Just live the book and do what he tells you to do in his word, or by his emissaries. And remember the story of the storm and those in the boat. If you have not reached your destination, being displayed now is folly. Because he will never call you to go to a certain place and have you die in the way. It has never happened, it will never happen. So do not overwhelm by the troubles that you might be facing now. But let his shalom keep you at all times, and rest in the assurance that you will make it to the end of your journey. In his time, in his way, he will always make a way for you. Don't try to reason it out, don't try to figure it out. Just live by the book. If you find you can't think too straight anymore, you have the apostles, talk to them. They are here to give you the spiritual guidance you need. But sometimes I have a feeling that with all the talk of trust and faith, I hear a tinge of doubt sometimes. I'm just trying to encourage you. Do not let that take root in your heart. After having done all, you continue to stand. Don't give up. Yahweh bless you all.
Hallelujah. Blessings. Thank you so much, Daddy. What an exhortation. We really appreciate that. So we're going, those of you at the hostel, we're going over to relax ourselves if you can. This is, like I said, no, I swear Apostle Thomas spoke about having a longer time. I will miss you all for sure.
But these 3 days or these 2-day sessions, I always tell you, they mean much more to me than anything else. Because this is where we can be open, we can be straightforward. Today, because we're going to have another morning session, I'm asking you to leave with one thing in mind. The best way to handle a situation you're not qualified for is to leave it alone. In other words, those who spoke of the marital issues, if you're not a counselor or an authority, don't discuss it beyond this room. Never touch what you're not qualified to handle. Drop it. Don't offer opinions on situations that you're not authorized to do either. Leave it. The most you can do is take lessons from it. And if you are guilty of encouraging in some way child or children to disrespect a man in your house, stop it. Because it will be no different reward. We are better off after this day.
Yes.
If you have Yahweh's Spirit inside of you, you have to be better off after today. Because you saw openness across the board. And that's what the church needs. Amen? Let's love one another more. Let's be really strong with each other. Apostle Thomas, you being the host, you're free to close us with any remark you have. I appreciate you highly. And I thank Yahweh for your example.
I don't have a remark, but there's a song that we can all sing together. It says, finally, finally, be strong in the Lord. Finally, finally, stand, stand. Finally, finally, be strong in the Lord. When all is said, when all is done, finally, finally stand. Finally, finally, be strong in the Lord. Finally, 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 stand, let us stand. Finally, finally, be strong in the Lord. Lift up his countenance on you and grant you his shalom.